Welcome everybody to High and Low, a podcast about talking picture shows.
We do films that are corny, some that are horny, some that win Academy Award.
Doing all kind of movies from all kinds of genres, serving hot takes like plates of lasagna.
Before we get going, a warning to you, you might hear some talk that's a little blue.
We sometimes cuss and we sometimes curse. We like to do it off the cuff and don't rehearse.
Now, if this sounds like your kind of show,
Tune in,
Drop out,
this is High and Low.
Oh, howdy, pard, and welcome on back to the High and Low Movie Show. Now, this here's the podcast that compares two movies based on a theme. One of them's a high, and the other's a low. We're happier than a bunch of cows pissing on a bunch of flat rocks because we're talking Texas Rangers here. Last week's high was 2016's Hell or High Water. Now we're getting ready to roll around in the dust and roundhouse kick our studio to bits because our low is the 1983 Chuck Norris banger, Lone Wolf McQuade. This old cowpoke here is Vaughn Gonziola, and I'm joined as always by a couple of real straight shooters, Luke Slowbod and Mitchell McIsaac. Why don't you grab your 6-shooter, pard, and join this recording already in progress.
I don't know about headphones, just liberal stuff.
I don't care to hear about debt relief and banks and reverse mortgages. I just want to hear a shotgun blasted in a criminal's face. That's simple to me. I like that.
I just want to hear a Texas Ranger with style.
Well, let me tell you about the greatest Texas Ranger of all. Me, Lone Wolf McQuade. I'm about to talk some real Texas stuff to you all.
Giddy up. Welcome back. We're here to talk about Lone Wolf McQuade, a 1983 Chuck Norris picture.
Wow.
Yeah. Directed 1983. You already said that. Directed by Steve Carver.
Chuck Norris.
Chuck fucking Norris.
Who do we got starring in this movie?
Welcome to the pod. We got Barbara Carrera playing Lola. We got David Carradine playing Raleigh Wilkes.
Everybody check your pants. Make sure you still got your belts.
Yeah, man. There was a scene.
I lent mine to my buddy Dave. And, come to think of it, I haven't got it back.
He
He
used it to self-pleasure. And you don't want it back. Trust me.
Okay, everybody, if you're going to do autoerotic... David Carradine died for a cause.
I told myself that I was going to hold off for at least a little bit.
Yeah.
No,
I hear David Carradine's name. The first thing.
A public
in
disclaimer.
the opening seconds, just consider his death a public service announcement. If you want to choke yourself out while you're calm, have a buddy, have a spotter, have a friend.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying,
Yep.
and I mean it.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a message specifically for high and low listeners.
No shame, no shade. Just be safe.
That's a little safety disclaimer. We don't care what you do here. You can put things in all kinds of holes on your body.
Just don't tell us about it.
Yeah. Don't ask, don't
Stay
tell.
out of my DMs. with
Unless
that.
you're an attractive person, then
Yes.
do tell us about it.
There's multiple addresses you can reach the podcast at to email photographs, as so inclined.
Send us an email. We'd love to hear from you.
Otherwise, forget it.
High and low didn't want to hear High and low didn't want to hear my jacking off stories. I'm their best listener.
Well, if they don't want to hear my jacking off stories, I don't know who wants to hear my jacking off.
Nobody's subscribing to my live journal.
This American Life won't respond to my emails either.
I guarantee this podcast would become...
Philip Glass put a restraining order on me.
We'd be 20 times more popular if we were a jacking off podcast instead of a movie podcast. I vote we change the format.
I said Philip Glass. Is it Todd Glass?
Ira Glass.
Ira Glass. This American Life.
Lone Wolf McQuade. Hell fucking yeah.
So yeah, this is I'm not too familiar with Chuck Norris movies. I've seen a few for sure, but I've missed some big ones like Missing in Action. But this is kind of him in his prime. Like, this is prime Chuck. He's looking good.
This is one of his peak movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big, got a nice little budget here. There's lots of explosions and squibs.
Hell yeah. Good cast.
I got the sense he's being set up at this point to be like I don't know, he was kind of a little bit of a joke, I think, for our generation growing up, where we were just exposed to these, like, Texas Ranger clips and stuff like that.
He was a joke because he was so awesome.
Yeah.
He was, like, such a badass in his movies and just always the stoic hero type.
It's like the
an
Hulk
edge.
Hogan WWF.
Yeah, since when was
like-
Chuck Norris a joke? I don't follow. I mean, this is the
He was
man
not
who
taking-
counted to infinity twice.
Oh, that's true. I didn't consider that because I was busy counting once to infinity, and I got so sidetracked I couldn't keep up with where Chuck Norris was at.
Because
I don't know what you think is funny. Chuck Norris lost his virginity before his father did.
Well, I actually consider that to be a very serious medical condition.
We take Chuck Norris very seriously here, so I'm glad you consider his medical condition serious as well.
He can gargle sand.
I can do that. That doesn't impress me. I'm way tougher than Chuck Norris.
Mitchell's famous last word.
He
Wow.
has 3 testicles, each one bigger than the other 2 combined.
I have one testicle and it's 5 times the size.
Did Chuck Norris get the other one?
Well, the one
A totally different cowboy was involved with that.
he lost one of those testicles. They call it Jupiter now.
Buddy, it's happened to me too. You pass out in a farmer's field, you wake up, and you're getting gelded.
My testicle became Pluto.
Prairie
but
things, right?
It's no longer a planet.
Hashtag prairie life.
Just prairie things.
I woke up and I was missing my nuts. So random. Hashtag prairie life, right?
Like a house cat.
So this movie, it's Chuck Norris. He is a Texas Ranger.
Hell yeah, he is.
And for the credits, he's a Texas Ranger who's a lone wolf. And to really make sure you get that, you see a lot of that over the credits here. Just like it's a
Yeah.
lone wolf running through.
It's a wolf.
It's a wolf. It's a lone wolf.
It's very stylish. There's a stylish wolf running through the woods. No
it runs
friends.
and then it freeze frames and then it runs and then it poses. It's voguing. So the movie opens. We got a flinty-eyed looking Chuck Norris. He's eyeing up a herd of horses being run by some bandits through some gullies. He's watching them through his scope of his rifle.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. He's judging all. We don't really know what he's thinking, but he's watching everything.
Yeah. In flies a whirly bird, and we see a bunch of lawmen scrambling down the hillside.
Yeah, all the local cops or whoever's on the case, they're here to
Yeah.
save the day. Stop these cattle. They're horse rustlers.
They're no Texas Rangers, these guys. These are like the local cops showing up to try and stop these horse
Completely
rustlers,
expendable.
Bunch of fucking choir boys.
Yeah. Losers. They don't know how to set up an ambush. They don't know how to sit in the tumbleweeds.
Idiots.
You're a choir boy compared to me. Whatever you say,
A
lone wolf.
Texan.
You are a choir boy. See, I'm just as good as Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I have the charisma of a Schwarzenegger. Everyone tells me.
I created my own martial art. People don't talk about it as much as Jeet Kune Do.
Chuck.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Marie Kondo.
So here we get a reveal. We see McQuade's sheriff's badge, nice little close up. Or it's his Texas Ranger badge, but he's got his stars.
Yeah.
Very much part of his identity. He wears it from here on out for the rest of the movie.
Oh, he never takes it off. Not even in the shower. He
I
just
thi-
weaves his
yeah.
chest hair into it.
Yeah, it turns out he's not even wearing a sweater. It's just his chest hair. The entire movie.
The Lone Star State, Texas. Is that what they call it that? Because of the sheriff badge is like a star?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly why they do that.
Yeah, I don't know why they call it that.
I can say definitively you are 100% correct on
I
that.
think that's right. Let me rephrase that. The reason they call Texas the Lone Star State is because of the badges that the Texas Rangers wear.
You are still correct. Even in rephrasing.
I thought maybe it was because they were proud of their best son, Chuck Norris, who's from Oklahoma.
Their best Oklahoma boy.
Yeah, and Oklahomans and Texans, they love each other famously, right?
They're always holding hands and having a picnic.
Yeah.
Can't do hands across America without Texas and Oklahoma working together.
Unfortunately.
Right. Yeah, that squashed the beef. So McQuade fits his scope to his rifle. He loads it up with some blue-tipped rounds. These lawmen, they come right out. They confront these bandits. All hell breaks loose. We got bullets flying around, horses running, people getting blasted left and right.
These lawmen are completely unprepared for what's about to happen. And the head bandit guy, he's got He's got some machismo. He's swaggering around. He's like, oh, nobody takes me down. You know, like, I don't listen to no stinking law.
Yeah, he's straight out of a Sergio Leone pick. This guy's fucking going big. He's playing to
I
the
love
fucking
it. He's got a
back row.
zest for life. He's laughing. He's breathing the air. He's robbing these horses.
I'm so evil.
He is in the moment.
I love being a Mexican illegally in America. Boy, the evil we do.
I love doing crimes to Americans.
After we steal these horses, we're going to go have espresso.
And steal their women.
I'm a bad hombre. You don't want me crossing your border. Hey, cabron.
We're going to put Lone Wolf McQuade on the borders. He's going to keep him safe. We're going to be secure.
We don't need a wall. We need a McQuade. For extrajudicial.
So, these are my horses. I'm going to teach you a lesson. So he's got this sheriff, like the bandits have kind of come out on top here, and they've got the head sheriff dude on his knees here. He's like, yeah, some of these guys are a lot taller than me, a whole head taller, and he's holding a machete. He's gonna chop his fucking head off.
Yeah, nice.
Pretty
Do it.
Typical cartel behavior, you know, a little
So what does
dismemberment.
McQuaid do here? He shoots a truck and it blows up?
Yeah, he gets it right in the dynamite stick in the gas.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah.
He blows up a car. He's shooting the cars from up on his like mountain perch.
Yeah.
He's got the drop on them. He's got the high ground. He's shooting down at
he's
them.
like-
Hey, cabron! You're hurting my car!
He's so cool up there on that ledge. He's standing there silhouetted in the sun.
He
And
looks cooler than Ben Foster does. I love Ben Foster, but put in a
ultimate hero
situation.
shot.
Totally.
The bad guys unload on him. The bullets are just like all the bad guys in this movie have stormtrooper aim. They
He
can't hit
just
shit.
stands
but-
at the top of the hill. He's like, it's me! And he's standing there at
You think I'm
Kimbo.
scared of your bullets?
Nobody can kill a Texas Ranger.
It's me,
a Superman.
Millhouse. And they just unload a bunch of bullets on the side of the hill, and none of them are even come close to hitting him. And he's like, ha, 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 ha.
You ever heard of aiming?
So then he starts to walk down the hill. He's like, I'm going to forfeit my advantage.
Why don't they gun him down?
They give him plenty of time to saunter all the way, scramble down this bare rock face, saunter all the way down the gully.
Oh, he wants to do it,
you know-
mano y mano.
Let him come, let him come.
I think that's the ultimate clash in a movie that involves guns, but also karate. Is that question popped up a lot for me, where I'm like, why don't they just gun him down? Why doesn't she gun him down? Why don't they shoot him?
There's like fucking
Don't let him do a karate chop on you.
There's like fucking 15 bandits with guns trained on him, and nobody fires a shot, considering what happens next.
But you gotta
He's
remember,
like, ain't no man ever killed a Texas Ranger and lived to tell it.
I didn't look it up, but that sounds like it might be actual like Texas Ranger lore to me. Like that might be a thing that they tout. Like, ain't no man never killed no Texas Ranger that we didn't kill him right back. You better believe that.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I imagine they've killed a lot more than they've been killed. That's for sure.
It's like, and if we didn't get the guy that
I
killed
don't-
one of us, we killed two more to make up for it.
You know, we actually, I mean, if you look at the statistics, we killed 42 baby Hitlers. I mean, I can't prove they were all Hitlers, but they were babies.
We got it.
So at least some of them were Hitlers.
Unfortunately, we also killed 13 people who would invent a flying car.
yeah,
You can't be right all the time.
we killed 7 Gandhis, but we also killed 12 Mussolinis, and we killed 19 Mother Teresa's.
So
but we
We killed a lot of babies.
yeah. Point being,
You know,
we killed them all.
Every now and then, a pig finds a truffle. Even a blind pig finds a truffle.
Add up the numbers, you actually find out that it works out pretty well in our favor.
Killed a lot of Hitlers.
How many Hitlers does a flying car work? You do the math.
25, as it works out.
So they've graciously allowed him to walk right on up to them, completely unharmed. And I've seen a Texas Ranger up close. You know, a Texas Ranger kicked my father's teeth out. Would you do that to me?
I guess I won't give you the perfect opportunity to. Maybe I'll put my teeth right at your foot level.
Maybe I'll put my face right on your foot. Hey, cabron.
Look at the pointy. Are those steel-toe boots you're wearing? Let me put my mouth on them.
Yeah. Blam. Norris kicks the guy in the face.
Yeah.
He beats up 3 more bandits in hand-to-hand combat, pulls out an Uzi, and just starts blasting. There's guys all up on the hill surrounding him, and he just pulls out an Uzi, and they're all like, duh! And he shoots
My
like
reaction
10
time.
more guys.
No
Yeah.
good.
He does like a 360 and like everybody drops dead essentially.
Yeah, he just does like a little spin around like Michael Jackson as he's shooting this Uzi, and everybody dies.
I love that the Uzi is just kind of like the secondary firearm for
Yeah.
Texas Rangers, I guess, based on this movie.
Uzi is such a psychotic, chaotic weapon.
Yeah.
Like, it should never be used by a good guy.
No.
One thing I always loved about the Uzi was that the inventor of the Uzi, whatever his name was, Reginald Uzi, he was like, please do not put my name on this gun. And they put his name on it anyway, because fuck him. It's an Israeli weapon.
Oh, well, fuck him.
Yeah, fuck him especially.
Especially, yeah.
Okay, so now we're back at the headquarters. So Chuck Norris has accrued a body count of like a dozen people by now. And now you think that he's going to get really reamed out by his captain. But we get a little scene where his buddy, Dakota, who he's retiring. And they make a big to-do about how he's retiring. And everybody's there for his sending off speech. And Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
What are we going to call
Dakota.
him? Are we going to call him McQuade or Chuck or
McQuade.
McQuade?
Good old McQuade.
So, Dakota, played by L.Q. Jones, who I recognize from the Wild Bunch. This guy's got a fucking face and a half, man. He looks like those guards from Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like those rat-faced looking guys who are like, well, those guys are telling the truth, but we always lie. Well, that's what a liar would say. And blah.
He's
and
a
Jennifer
Muppet
Connelly
creature.
gets the riddle wrong.
This man is a cross between a human being and a Muppet creature.
He's an insane kind of face that
Yeah.
we just don't see anymore. We had him in Westerns back when Peckinpah was working. This guy was in a bunch of
This guy was
Peckinpah.
around before sunscreen.
You
looks-
Oh, yeah.
you buy him as Lone Wolf McQuade's mentor, this older Texas Ranger who is equally as badass as Lone Wolf McQuade, but like, you know,
Yeah.
he's on the way out, and McQuade is the hot new thing.
McQuade, we get to see Chuck Norris
Well,
flexing some of
McQuade's
his...
not really hot
No, he's
new.
not.
Because he's like...
He's a
old.
famous guy. Everybody knows him in the
You know,
tabloids and the
He has a
papers.
grown-up daughter.
This is one of the weird things about this movie is that it tries to have its cake and eat it too with McQuade. Like, it tries to make him like this really gritty character, but it also, at the same time, he's like a very all-American, clean-cut kind of guy. So you can't have it both ways.
It doesn't... Yeah, no, it's totally dissonant. It doesn't make any sense.
No,
I
I
think
can't-
this is Norris's on-screen personality altogether. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't jive, and I can't buy for 1 second that he drinks as much beer as this guy does. Chuck
No.
Norris drinking a beer?
No, he's like in his 40s here, and he's got a flat stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not fucking pounding beer all day, let me tell you.
He drinks a
you know-
Coca-Cola at one point.
I scrutinized
Forget it.
him
No thanks.
throughout this movie, and there was multiple times where he was just sipping these beers, and I don't believe he was as much of a beer guzzler as he was
did-
trying to portray himself
Chuck
to
Norris does drink beer, though. I had to check.
be. Okay, does he?
And
Yeah, because he's like a
recently, even
very...
on Instagram and stuff, we've seen pictures of him on his ranch. He's drinking beer.
Sure, I'd
okay.
buy him having a beer, but he's just nonstop swigging beer in this
No,
movie.
you're not drinking. You're
And
not
he's
pulling.
fit.
Yeah, he's not an alcoholic like Lone
Yeah.
Wolf McQuade
Like,
is.
he's a guy who...
Dedicated alcoholic.
Yeah.
Like, Chuck Norris was a guy who was like, I will not do certain activities on film because I want to be like a role model to children and stuff. Like, he was a guy who was concerned about that kind of thing, you know. Like, he wasn't like, I want to be violent action hero. He was like, I want to be a hero for... It was almost like Hulk Hogan WWF stuff, like child friendly murder entertainment. Like, I want to be the murderer that the children can cheer for. I won't have killed the banditos when I gunned them down with the Uzi.
All
in
the
desert.
white children.
Yeah,
can cheer
exactly.
for me.
And you Mexican children, these were not your people. These were criminals. You cheer too.
God, that wide crane shot of all the bodies that he left at that fucking deal or whatever, that was hilarious. There's just guys in jeans littering the hills, and one guy apparently just killed everybody. Went into the middle of them.
Yeah.
Like, even in Zelda, I can't go into a group of enemies that deep.
It's like in Predator, right? When Billy's like, it's like somebody was standing right in the middle of all of them and he just shot them all and they didn't even know he was there. He just...
Yeah. Well, this is one of those movies where...
Bill Duke.
Like, there was a certain point in time where it was, like, cool for, like, a cop movie to have, like, a fascist cop, you know? It kind of reminded me of the Reagan movie in that, like, you were saying that the Reagan stuff would show some of Reagan's actions unironically, but then you were just meant to interpret it like he was a hero. That's what this movie is like a little bit. It'll show Lone Wolf McQuade, like, just violating civil rights and just murdering a bunch of people.
I don't want to get too far ahead of it, but he goes to another country and kills 50 people.
Yeah. He's like,
And that's how the movie ends.
And he's a bad boyfriend.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's just terrible all around. But it'll show these things, and it just, like... And you watch them and you're like, oh, this guy's a piece of shit. And but
I mean,
the way
who
the movie
hasn't gone to another country and committed war crimes?
Well, yeah.
But, like,
I mean,
have you seen the way he treats, like, the hottest woman in the world?
well, he's a damaged man.
She's not just hot. She's, like, doing everything for him.
If I want to kill myself, I'll kill myself. You don't need to clean my toilet.
Please let me massage your testicles. My testicles are fine being tense. Go away.
So he goes into the captain's office here. Before he goes in there, he's taking a long drink at the water cooler and he just throws his cup on the ground.
But
like
he
an
was
asshole.
smashing beers before that, too.
Yeah.
With his buddy. He's, like, always got a beer in his pocket.
Yeah.
He's like, here you go, beer, and tosses him a beer.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
like
he
Trailer
pulls
Park
another
Boys.
beer out of nowhere. Yeah. yeah. He's always got beer in this movie. And it's weird because the movie doesn't really play for laughs. Like,
No, yeah.
the movie...
The movie is like the people who watching this movie. They like to drink beer all the time.
Yeah, it's weird how the tone of the movie doesn't set it up for it being a laugh. I mean,
No.
it is funny on its face, the thing that he always has beers.
He doesn't have the comedic chops that like a Schwarzenegger or even a Stallone sometimes has. Chuck Norris acting isn't his strong suit. He
No.
looks good doing the action stuff.
He can do
He's got
he
the
can
build,
do the
he's got the-
roundhouse kick.
He's got the look.
But he's not like he doesn't have the charisma of a Schwarzenegger or anything like that.
As we've said though, he could probably lay out any of them.
Oh,
He's
I
a
would
trained
say
killing
so.
machine.
I'd say so.
Who's dedicated
Today,
his life.
any day of the action stars, American ones anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like
white ones.
Yeah, oh yeah. As far as action
White
stars that can fight,
Michael Jai White,
Michael Jai
he could
White.
probably kick his ass.
Michael Dacascos
beat anybody
would
up.
maybe fucking kick his ass.
Yeah.
Michael Jai White would kick his ass.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan, oh, he's pretty old. I don't know right now, but
Yeah, there's a Scott Adkins. Yeah, kick his ass.
Scott Adkins.
Yeah, just
would kick his
decimate
ass.
him.
He's a real martial artist.
Yeah, like there's the actual like
and he's 30 years younger.
there's
that
martial
helps.
artist actors.
Got a Tyson Jake Paul situation here.
Like Steven Seagal is a black belt in whatever his martial art was, like he's
like
an
an
actual
eighth degree.
martial artist.
what
he was
did you call it?
Aikido.
Yeah,
Aikido, yeah, but with all the grabs and the throws, that's what Aikido is all about. That was like his, but
Come on, nobody kills a Texas Ranger and lives to tell about it. Come on, white boy, as he's talking to this Hispanic guy. Come on, white boy.
gets into
White
his
boy.
tank. He's like, yeah, you don't want me to drive into your backyard.
Should have kept your dog in your backyard, white boy.
Hey, cabron.
Que pasa? Let's all calm down.
Hey, Holmes.
Fuck. Okay. So Lone Wolf McQuade goes into the captain's office, and the captain. This happens a lot earlier than it does in these movies. Typically, it's like 2 minutes in, and the captain's like, "You're reckless. You got no style. Texas Rangers, they gotta have style."
And it doesn't make sense in this movie because, it happens in every cop movie, this scene where they're being chewed out by the chief of police. But in this particular scene, Lone Wolf McQuade has just busted up a horse heist in the desert. So there's no collateral damage where, like, buildings have been destroyed. A cop did die, but other than that...
He did massacre like 20 people.
Oh, but those were pendejo criminals.
But at least he didn't destroy any buildings.
No. Yeah, all the bullets just went in the sand. He might have hurt a cactus or two, but, 50, 60 people did. Anyway, there was no collateral damage, so I don't know why this
captain, by the way, I was
so
like,
uptight.
oh, this guy feels like one of my guys. That's Archie Armstrong. That's General Phillips from Predator.
Oh.
Welcome back to the pod.
Okay. Oh, a recurring high and low.
Yeah.
He'll go in the high and low Hall of Fame.
We got so many people in the Two Timers Club already. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've got his portrait here, and I'm hanging it in the Two Timers Club.
Let's just move these Confederate flags out of the way.
There it goes. Yeah.
Still got to move the don't tread on me.
That goes on the roof, just like in the trailer in Hell and High Water.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, we're good. Ranger J.J. McQuade is a walking symbol of the brutal, uncooperative, obsolete, and discriminatory Rangers today. Your lone wolf attitude is going to change.
Yeah, this guy's like, I don't like cops like you. I like cops who are married and have a kid and go to church on Sundays. And they don't drink so much beer like you do. They just drink beer every now and then. Because, it's a pretty good, it's a normal thing to drink beer in Texas here, but
In Texas.
not like you do. You drank it too much, McQuade.
That's why I gotta pin you with a new greenhorn. Caio Ramos.
Kyle.
Kind of name's that?
And he's like, Ramos. Just immediately hates him because he's Latino.
Yeah.
I don't need no partner, Chief. Captain. I'd rather stand, Captain. I don't need a partner.
I know. It's hard to act out Chuck Norris because we're not,
Cipher.
obviously, we're not fucking Denzel Washingtons around.
We're trying to bring some energy to this show here, and it's really hard to do Chuck Norris with that
You just
mentality.
gotta drop the energy for a minute. You gotta be like, Chief, I don't want any trouble, Chief.
That's the thing about this movie is it's played straight and he's completely crazy in it, but he also is playing it like he's the only normal person in a world full of crazy.
I think it's completely sane to roundhouse kick your house to demolish
pieces?
it. Yeah, just roundhouse kick it to pieces.
I'm not good with kicks because, I'm more of a boxing man, but I've punched a house into pieces before. Yeah. I punched the studio. And I think you guys all learned not to make me angry again after that.
Well, I prefer when you take out your aggression on the people in the high and low dungeon.
Well, they don't like that as much. So I've got a lot of people's opinions to consider.
I don't like it much.
Will you please shut up? Well, that's what I got the ball gags for. So you don't need to consider people's opinions with those.
It's just it's quiet now. It's just quiet.
Finally. I can finally listen to my music.
McQuade doesn't take kindly to his new partner, and we find out that he's still packing a Uzi. He's just got it slung over his shoulder, just like you do. And now we get our first glimpse of the real bad guys. These bad guys coming in on a plane. David Carradine walks up, looking suave as all get out.
He's a suave character, David Carradine.
He's a cool customer.
He's like, I buy him as a bad guy. I don't know. He's not like... Again, he also is not a Marlon Brando. He works in every role you put him in, I think. He elevate. He's in a lot of B movies, and he tends to elevate them.
Yeah, and he's got a good dark energy.
Yeah, and he's got the chops,
What
the
did I
martial arts
recently
chops.
watch him in? I recently watched him in Chris Christopherson.
Interesting. That sounds like it could be a
Trouble All the Time. I watched him in this Chris Christopherson movie, Trouble All the Time, and he was kind of like the deadbeat boyfriend. He was great in that.
He was in like the first couple Martin Scorsese
Yeah, he was in
movies,
Boxcar
too,
Bertha.
Yeah.
Great in that.
And then, of course, just like a universe of B to Z movies like Death Race and Future Force and every other thing in between.
He's got a presence, and he's got like an underlying edge here. So he kind of walks up. He's doing an arms deal, and this shipment's bound for Havana.
He's always smoking a cigarillo, kind of like Clint Eastwood and like the Man with No Name movies.
Yeah, he's either smoking a cigarillo or he's putting on some karate gi.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are his two modes. Or he wears a lot of knit sweaters.
Yeah.
Not something I really thought would go in a Texas movie, but
No, you wouldn't think so with that heat, but this was the 80s. Climate change wasn't in full ramp up at that point, so maybe it was a little cooler.
Carradine, he's playing Raleigh. That's his character. Raleigh walks up. Trust is the most important thing in our business. These Cuban guys pull guns on him, and the double cross goes so wrong. All of the Cubans get lit up by Raleigh's guys who are hiding behind crates and stuff. And
Carradine showing off his kung fu moves right away.
Yeah.
Kicks that fucking gun right out of the guy's hand. The guy's got a gun pressed to his temple, basically, and he's like, poof,
Which is like kind of
high kick.
It's almost the same move McQuade pulled off earlier when he like walked down to the crowd, and then no one expects the legs to come up and kick guns out of the way.
Yeah. Another thing about Carradine, this white guy knows how to fucking make karate look good on screen.
He looks
Yeah.
good.
I mean, he's
and
famous for the
natural.
Kung Fu series. He was not a real martial artist like Chuck Norris, but goddamn, he did a lot for the art form of. In this movie, he's saying he's karate. Obviously, in Kung Fu, he's doing Kung Fu. He's not real at any of these fucking things, but he looks like he can.
He's
and
wavy, gravy.
he moves
good
well.
at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as I know, he's not Asian in any way, but the character he played in Kung Fu was an Asian character.
I'm 1/16th Asian, hombre.
His versatility is amazing.
I'm also Asian. I'm David Carradine.
Yeah, two kind of understated performances leading this movie that's just packed with explosions and action.
Carradine is, man, he fucking acts Norris off the screen. And it doesn't take much to do that, but like, Carradine has so much presence.
He does, but he's also like kind of gracious. Like he's not one-upping Norris in their scenes. He at least serves the scenes pretty
a
well.
pro.
Like
Yeah.
he'll take a beating and stuff too. Like actually, I was impressed with Chuck Norris as far as that goes too. Where like Chuck Norris will take a beating in this movie. He has his low hero points in this movie where he's all dirty.
Yeah, again and again and again.
a couple times.
So that's our introduction to Raleigh. We don't know what he's about. We just know that he's a bad guy and he's going to throw down. Now we get to see McQuade's home life. So we go back to his pad. His partner's following him around. Caio's just goes up to his place and he gets out, goes up to knock on McQuade's door, and he's confronted by this. Is it a wolf? I think it's supposed to be a wolf, but it's this dog that has the most hilarious ADR.
It looked wolfy.
How's Wolfie?
might be a half breed. Hey Janelle.
And so yeah, the wolf, it's like yawning, but they're ADRing. There's like, just like,
Yeah,
like
they
a
got
DMX
Frank
song.
Welker.
Yeah, Frank Welker. Have you seen the video of him doing the lion effects for the Lion King of when Mufasa and Scar are fighting? It's just him
Yes.
screaming into a garbage can, pretty much.
He's amazing.
The sounds the guy makes, it's
That dude
unreal.
has earned every paycheck he's ever got.
Yeah. So
Makes you wonder what kind of sounds you could make come out of your body if you're properly motivated. Like I think you just
did you cut the audio feed to the dungeon or what?
Yeah, I feel like I could make a lot of sounds, but I'm just too self-conscious, Like, I could make all kinds of weird animal noises if I wanted to, but it's not natural to do it. And I feel like I would, experience peer repercussions if I did it, so I don't
It ain't
do
natural.
it. It ain't right. It ain't natural. It ain't no good.
You know what ain't no good is McQuade's reaction to Caio coming around his place. He pulls a gun on him. Caio's kind of snooping around his place, and McQuade comes out, pointing a gun right at his head. Basically tells him to go fuck off, get lost.
Yeah.
And he starts shooting up his trailer.
He just blows a hole in his own roof. He's psychotic, and that's the funny thing about this is he doesn't play it like he's a psychotic.
No.
Like if you had Mel Gibson or somebody in this role, like
What?
Yeah.
he
Like
would-
like a Riggs or Murtaugh or whoever his name
Riggs.
was. From
When you have Riggs, it's like, it's
guy
Mel
has
Gibson.
PTSD.
He's fucking crazy. Like,
Lone
yeah.
Wolf McQuade is a completely unhinged lunatic, and Chuck Norris is about as tepid as a day-old bathwater.
Yeah.
and then you get like when he deals with his like ex-wife, they have such a great friendly relationship. Or when he deals with his kid, she's just like so smiley and just like excited to see him every time. It's
This
like
guy is obviously a psychopath.
yeah. He's just so dedicated to his job, you know.
Yeah, so then immediately McQuade, speaking of being a psychopath, he goes out back for some target practice. He has these dummies and targets and stuff set up, and he's pulling out all of these different guns. He's got like an automatic rifle, a sawed-off shotgun. He pulls off his shirt because you can't fire a gun with the shirt on.
No,
That's the first thing you learn when you get your firearm license.
Yeah, no.
It's very
You're a liberal.
restrictive.
It says it right in the manual. You're a liberal if you fire a gun with a shirt on.
Yeah.
So
He's rolling
This-
around in the dirt, too, just kicking up all sorts of dust.
this fucking overgrown orangutan pulls out a fucking...
He is an orange-haired man. All over.
Yeah, he's rolling around.
Dr.
And the thing-
Zaya's over here.
As K.O. Ramos is watching through his binoculars.
It's such a funny reveal. So
He's like, wow.
McQuade's doing this for a little bit, yeah, and then we
He
just
can
like
shoot stationary targets. You know who can do
Unbelievable.
that? Me. Like,
Yeah.
I've shot guns with you guys. It's not that fucking
No.
hard.
I shot a target before.
Hell, we do this before we record every podcast. We roll around in the dirt, take our shirts off, shoot some targets.
Yeah, we scream at the moon.
Yeah, that's normal guy stuff.
Yeah, it bumps up the testosterone a little and lets us know we're live.
Yeah.
Before we start recording.
Any real patriot does it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, us and our friend Ashley Babbitt, who we haven't seen in a while, but
And listeners,
she was saying she was going to January 6th, but I couldn't make it,
no,
and I haven't heard from her since.
but that can only mean she's had so much fun there that she just decided to never come back. So that's where I'm going on January 6th because I want to have fun too.
Okay. So McQuade leaves his place and he's drinking a Coca-Cola. All right. And Kaio's pulling up behind him and McQuade sees him. He doesn't like this. And this is kind of, we've seen it before. This is the first taste we get of how awesome Lone Wolf McQuade's truck is.
This is a plot
Yeah.
point. It's Chekhov's truck.
Yeah, this is not a standard issued Texas Ranger vehicle. This must be something that Lone Wolf McQuade has been working on in his back room. He's like, this is my all-purpose vehicle that can do anything.
Yes.
You can't outrun me. I've got superchargers. Yeah.
Supercharged this.
He presses his button like it's the Batmobile. He flips a toggle and presses a button. And I don't know what this is. Is this like a Fast and the Furious NOS scenario? It supercharges his car so it goes super fast.
You see a bunch of levers and little things in his machine going. Super. It is totally like
machine.
the Batmobile. This movie is made for 4-year-old boys,
Yeah.
That's probably why I liked it so
but
much.
it's so violent.
Yeah.
And full of kissing.
And, when this movie came out, there was still a lot of lead paint and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, we didn't have Doritos yet. We just had lead paint chips.
An adult man
People were a little slower back then.
had the brain power of a 4-year-old boy.
So McQuade gets away from his partner, from Kaio, and he pulls up on his family's place. Here we get to meet the lovely McQuade family. We have his daughter, Sally.
This is how he drives to his ex's house. He drinks a bunch of beer, shoots a bunch of guns with his shirt off. And then
I gotta get in the right mind
then
frame.
go-
before
Don't
I
talk
see
to me
my
about
ass.
child support.
now I'm going to
bullets?
supercharge. He's fucking hammered.
He shows up.
He's driving to his baby mama's house.
There's liquor on his breath. His eyes are bloodshot. His trigger finger is bulging.
Sally, we're going riding. Come on, Sally.
Open the door! He's actually a good guy. No, they love him. They all love him.
Of course he's a good guy. He's just...
You love me!
It's like what you're saying. You can't have it both ways. He's a total unhinged maniac.
Yeah.
And then he's the most caring, loving father.
Yeah, exactly. Like
It's so absurd.
Come out and kiss me on the lips. Ex-wife. I forget what's her name again. I don't know. If
Sally.
Sally's his
No,
daughter.
Sally's his daughter. Doesn't matter.
both of you kiss me on the lips.
Oh, he plants a big wet one on his ex-wife.
She's like that. I still love you so much, McQuade. The only reason I broke up with you is
Shut up.
I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Anyway,
I'm taking my daughter.
she's a stupid feminist, apparently.
Yeah.
She's moving to Los Cruces for a new job because she's an independent woman.
Women can have jobs too, Lone Wolf McQuade.
Okay. As he crushes like his 5th beer of the morning.
Did you ever think about having a job in town? Stupid.
Do you ever think about me, Loretta? Do you ever once think about me?
I work hard every day, put my life on the line. People are shooting at me. I killed 12 men yesterday. Love me. Love me. Just
Sally, we're going riding.
Okay, go riding with your father now.
He's just gripping the stirrups. Just
Good Lord.
crushes the saddle into powder.
Here we find that Sally has a boyfriend. And to his credit, at first McQuade's kind of staring him down, but then he just kind of gives him a firm handshake and it's like, oh, nice to meet you, or whatever.
But you just know from the firmness of that handshake, that boy knows that he could be killed at any moment by McQuade.
By the way, Chuck Norris's daughter, she lost her virginity once. And he found it.
And return it.
So
So Sally's new boyfriend, he was in the Marines and he got a Silver Star.
Oh, he was in the he's in the army, and so he knows that McQuade was in the Marines at one point. So we get a little hint of McQuade's backstory here, why he's the most badass,
he's a
Texas
badass
Ranger.
He's famous. Everybody knows.
I love that trope in movies where it's like somebody was in the army or the Marines, especially.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, they're the ultimate killing machine.
Yeah, and that
They're
is,
not
like,
the dumbest guy I went to high school with.
no. Like you could feel a Rambo influence on this movie. You know, they're like Chuck Norris is the
He'll eat things that'll make a Billy go puke.
McQuade slept in McQuade's house to make a Billy go puke.
What you call hell, he calls home.
So we're off to the racetrack, and David Carradine, Raleigh, he's spying on McQuade while McQuade's kind of cleaning out the stables, and then this little person rolls up in a motorized wheelchair. His name is Falcone, and this guy is just
He's good. I like him. He's like
I
my
love
favorite
this
character
actor.
in the movie.
I know.
Maybe.
And it's so funny that you put in the notes that you thought he looked like a little Orson Welles because I also had that thought independently.
he's got like the heavy face with like the kind of the
He even talks
the
like him.
fine goatee or the fine beard. It's like a manicured
Yeah.
beard. Yeah, and he talks like him too. He's like, well,
He's Orson Smalls. Dwarfson Wells.
I found him to be a little bit like Vincent
love him.
D'Onofrio doing the Wilson Fisk in the Daredevils, where he's like, Mr. McQuade, I'd like to account a deal with you.
totally.
Oh,
That's a-
D'Onofrio is kind of Wellsian too.
Yeah, I'm
his
pretty
own
sure he might have based that performance off of Wells, the D'Onofrio with his Fisk.
This guy's fucking hilarious.
I just want Daniel Frischman plays Falcone, and yes, he was awesome in this movie.
He also played a couple of Ewoks through a couple of Star Wars through the years.
If you were a little person and you were an actor in the early 1980s,
you probably were an Ewok or some
you
kind of
might be an Ewok.
or a Jawa or some other kind of little creature.
This is a nice juicy roll, and he makes a meal out of it.
He eventually would retire after 15 years of acting and become a real estate worker.
Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. Why don't you buy my house?
Why don't you buy my house?
I was in Chuck Norris movies.
Green giant peas are the greatest peas that you'll ever eat. That's, I can only do Orson Welles in his later commercial career after he had kind of fallen off.
So this is when we finally meet Lola Richardson, a knockout Latina actress. Barbara Carrera is her name. She was in Never Say Never Again, one of the most derided Bond movies, the one where Sean Connery came back.
That's the one I haven't seen.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, but I was like, this woman is beautiful. She must have been a Bond girl, and I looked her up, and I was like, oh, sure enough.
Yeah, just stunning. Stunning.
Yeah.
And hey, how'd you like to bite that in the butt? Develop lockjaw and be dragged to death.
Yeah, she's riding a horse around at this rodeo or racetrack or whatever the fuck's going on here. Some kind of hillbilly activity.
Yeah.
I thought she might be related to Tia Carrera, but
They both
unrelated.
they spell and pronounce their names differently.
Separate incidents.
Also spelled differently. Also, one is Asian.
I couldn't. This lady was ethnically ambiguous.
So Sally's on her horse and she loses control. She goes tearing off and Lola goes to save her. So it turns out that she's not just a knockout babe. She's also pretty handy on the horse. Mm-hmm. And
She knows how to ride it.
yeah. And here's where we get our first standoff between David Carradine and Chuck Norris. Raleigh pulls up.
She's Raleigh's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh,
She used to be
boy.
Raleigh's partner's wife or girlfriend or whatever, partner. Something happened to him. He kind of like fell down an elevator shaft and landed on some bullets
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Got sick. So
We
she's-
don't know.
She's his boyfriend now. Raleigh's girlfriend. They're boyfriend girlfriend together, and they smooch. So they hold hands. And he gave her flowers. I heard.
It's pretty serious.
Yeah.
What did you? Raleigh and Lola, they're pretty serious. Heard he gave her flowers and shit. Raleigh's license plate says karate, but spelled with a C. And he gets out, and him and McQuade have a little standoff. And he's like, "Oh, McQuade, I heard you're pretty handy with your
I
fists."
understand you're pretty handy with your hands and feet. I'm like, is he cruising him?
McQuade, you handy with a belt? I could use a buddy.
Hey, McQuade, you want to spot me? So McQuade goes up to the bar and he's like, hey, you got any beer? And they're like, oh, sure we do. What do you got? Oh, we have Heineken, Michelob, and Dos Equis. Forget it. And then he just pulls one of his Pearl beers. I guess that's the beer he drinks. I don't even know if that's a real beer.
I don't, well, maybe it's a Texas thing, but that's all he drinks.
Yeah.
He's a Pearl man.
He pulls it out of nowhere. He's always got Pearl beers.
Guy's always got a pearl necklace.
And it sounds funny, but like the movie doesn't really play it for comedy, like I said.
No.
And that's
He's a man who
it makes it even funnier.
a
It's
locally.
not addressed at all. It's just a thing. It's his character trait.
Give me an American macro brewed beer.
Yeah.
You know,
only drink Alamo beer.
no more than 5%, and not too much flavor. That puts me off.
Yeah, Lola pops up. She's like, give me your bottom shelf, Sam. And he obliges her. He's like, oh, the bottom shelf. So you also like to drink shit.
Yeah.
Here, let me just take the spill mat from the bar and dump it into a cup for
I've
you.
been pissing into this bottle and mixing it with spill mat.
We got a cow pissing on a flat rock over there. Let me go bottle it real quick.
A nice cocktail. A nice cocktail of household cleaners and formaldehyde and whatever else.
It's a guy at a rodeo. What is a bottom shelf? Like he's probably
got two shelves.
vodka, bourbon.
And it's the 80s. What is there for selection for booze anyways?
There's one shelf.
Oh, yeah.
You have the basic kind of liquors.
You want Johnny Walker Red.
I think like on the top shelf he's got like a Grey Goose, and on the bottom shelf he's got his Kettle One.
How come you don't have any Finlandia?
Yeah, well, there's only two shelves.
Okay. So Raleigh, he decides to show off how tough he is. He is having a karate exhibition for, I don't know why, but they've set up this boxing ring in the middle of this horse track, and he's just going to kick.
Impromptu.
Yeah. This is what I like to do for fun.
have all this boxing stuff here.
Raleigh's a karate man.
He never leaves home without his boxing ring in case he needs to put on an exhibition.
Yeah, has a whole trailer full of staff and people.
Yeah. And he kicks the shit out of like three guys.
It's like, bring out my wood boards. He like breaks a wood board. He's like, bring out a rock. Breaks a rock. He does all the karate tricks. The audience
pretty
is
awesome.
so impressed.
And this is doing something for Lola. It's turning her crank a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, this is
Raleigh's like, hey, McQuade, come on, let's go. And McQuade's like, I don't fight for money. Okay, you fucking pussy.
Once again, McQuade gets to have his beer and eat it too.
I only fight if it's personal.
And
Don't worry, though. I don't think it's ever going to get personal for this guy.
No.
And that's where the movie ends.
Yeah.
they shake hands.
So this whole time we find out Kaio is also in the mix. He's there, and one of Raleigh's thugs comes up, starts calling him a greaser. You're a greaser, ain't you? You look like a real greaser. You want to fight,
now,
greaser?
Where I come from, greasers are the characters from The Outsiders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've heard that as a slur towards Mexicans.
Greasers
before.
are Matt Dillon.
Yeah.
They're stealing our slurs. That's for just us to call each other.
That's an Oklahoma slur
Yeah,
for a
we're greasers.
Yeah.
We're greasy.
You only grease if you work on cars and you grease your hairbacks.
Yeah.
So this turns into a big old brawl, and McQuade just dispatches them. He just picks them apart.
Yeah.
Does a flying jump kick. Looks great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dismantles half a dozen guys. Another guy comes up with like a broken bottle knife. He just grabs the guy's hand and looks at him and smashes the bottle in his hand, just crushes
It's
it.
insane.
You'll never forget this day.
And the little person, Orson Smalls, watching in the binoculars, and he's like,
Delightful.
we know nothing about him. All we know so far is that he's been watching the movie unfold.
He's the shadowy
he's-
figure who's he's the man behind the man.
I think he's the audience surrogate, because I'm sitting here watching this movie and I'm cackling like a fucking lunatic too.
Kill them, McQuade. Kill them.
Yeah. So Kaio's like, you should have arrested those guys, Sheriff. Kid, if I arrested every punk who took a swing at me, I'd have half the county behind bars.
Yeah,
The cunt county.
I'd have to cunt count.
I want to go there.
Is that really
I
the best
still-
take we have? Yeah, go with it. Go
42
with it,
takes.
Chuck.
My take's still better than Chuck Norris's.
Kid, I'm going to Cunt County.
McQuade and Lola decide to get away from all the hubbub. They take a little drive. They go to some roadhouse, and this creep, they sit down for all of 2 seconds, and this total sleazeball just comes creeping up on Lola, and she decks him.
Of course. I mean,
She's
a 10 and she's wearing no bra and like a see-through shirt.
She's not even a Texas 10. She's like a...
No,
A straight
she's
up
a supermodel.
10. She gives him a right hook. It's not a great punch, but it decks him out.
Yeah, she smacks him.
He rolls.
And
Real
now
good.
there's a bar fight, and McQuade's like, we're getting out of here. We're leaving. So they get out of there. Now we cut to Sally and her new boyfriend, Bobby. They're at makeout point. Bobby's getting frisky. They're
They're gonna smooch. Yeah, they're probably-
And this scene kind of goes in a different direction than you expect, because at first she's like, Bobby, I don't want to go that far tonight. And he like jumps into the car and he's like, oh, come on, baby. And he's jumping on her and she's like, oh, no, stop. And it's like, oh, no, is he like gonna
Yeah, this is taking a dark, sinister
do something
twist.
bad here? And
Luckily,
then,
there's a massive arms deal or something like that takes place
Yeah.
just down the street.
God, they're interrupting my courtship with you.
well, now hang on there, Grace Kelly. I think there's an arms deal happening down here. I don't know. Actually, I don't want to have sex. I want to look at what's happening here.
I gotta get out for some air. I just want to get out of the car for some air, okay? Lay off me, Grace.
Where's my binoculars anyway?
It's got the leg all better.
Oh no, I'm peeping on these guys. So he's looking at these guys down on the road below, and some other guys come up beside them, and they're like, "Hey, motherfucker!" And he's like, "Oh, hey, I didn't see nothing." And he comes out of the car, and they just gun his ass down. They fucking blast him.
I love it when the bad guys kind of, it's like, we were behind you the whole time.
Never expected that.
I don't know who this henchman's got a good look. The guy who's the heavy, the kind of second in command to David Carradine, I guess.
He's intimidating.
So yeah, they blast Bobby to smithereens, and then they knock Sally's car down the hill. She's kind of on a bit of a ridge here, and
Yeah, they just kind of ram her car in, and it only flips over a few times.
yeah.
And
I don't know. If I was them, I would be killing her for sure.
Why
I don't
not?
know. Close up all the loose ends.
Heat rules. You're going down for life for one thing. May as well just get rid of all the witnesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Missed opportunity. To be
Just
fair, I thought
stupid
she
criminals.
was dead here.
Me too.
Once they knocked the car off the cliff, I was like, oh, fuck.
It just rolled a few times.
It kind
You
of
could have had that car explode and just killed her.
That would have been sweet.
No, because they need her for the stakes for later. So it's funny because this movie uses the daughter for stakes twice.
Twice, yeah.
Please stop.
No, she has to get hurt and almost killed and then kidnapped,
Yeah.
right? That's so fucking stupid.
It's funny.
That's where this movie really ups the ante.
Well,
in Death Wish, you just have the daughter get killed.
Yeah, and then
it's all bets are off. You're 10
Yeah.
minutes into the movie.
That's the way to do it.
He is completely anointed to kill anybody.
for Lone Wolf McQuade, it gets personal 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting more personal.
This is slightly personal at
You
this
can't
point.
just make it personal the first time. Like John Wick, they kill his dog, they take his car, his wife's dead. It's personal, like in the first 20 minutes of that series.
They kill his
and
dog,
it's
and
personal
that's enough.
forever.
Yeah,
In this, they just killed his daughter's boyfriend, and he's like, well, that kid kind of pimply faced. I wasn't that into him anyway.
kind of had a bit of a weak handshake. I don't know.
Not like a nice loyal dog.
So McQuade's on his way to the Well, he's having a smooch with Lola. He gets word that his daughter's been in an incident. There's been fatalities, so he goes to the hospital. She's fine, like she's gonna live. He's going to check out the crime scene, and we meet a couple feds. These are some new people on the case, and let's just say he doesn't take too kindly to them. One of
Yeah, I
them's
thought
Jackson.
this was going to go worse
Yeah.
with Jackson, Officer Jackson.
No, it turns into like a sort of blood sport best friendship thing by the end of the movie.
I was
where-
like, oh no,
Yeah.
it's a black guy.
Yeah.
He's not
Yeah.
going to be nice to him.
yeah.
And
What
he
are you
isn't
doing
dead
here?
first, but
sorry, I don't like working with feds.
They're a little bit of kindred spirits, as it'll turn out.
Yeah. So McQuade, he's on the case. He's making phone calls. He wants to know what was going on, what trucks were involved. He wants to get the details. And it's like this is the first time this guy's ever made a phone call in his life because he's like, I want to speak to so-and-so. Well, he's busy right now. Well, what can you tell me about this? I don't know about that. Well, what do you know, lady? Like,
Like I'm a receptionist. Not
you know how phones work, sir.
just keeps pushing the dial tone. Like,
patch me through the operator.
sir, you already dialed. I only work with the colonel. I don't sleep with him.
God damn it! He roundhouse kicks the phone.
But Kaio, he's
Knocks the cord off and then strangles some guy with the uncorded phone somehow.
I gotta leave.
you're reckless, McQuade. But Kaio's got a hookup. He knows how to use a computer in 1983, which is pretty,
Yeah, not
pretty
bad.
earth-shattering technology.
One of the first computers probably he had in there.
He has access to the CIA database. They get some information, and this impresses McQuade.
He's a hacker. Who knew?
Hey, did you know that Chuck Norris was a kamikaze pilot 7 times?
My God, what happened? He survived.
Did you know that Chuck Norris squeezed an oak tree back into an acorn?
I did know that. But did you know he continued to squeeze it until it turned into a diamond? Because very few people know that part.
He can slam a revolving door.
Yeah, I knew that. He can slam a cell phone also.
He makes onions cry.
I'm trying to remember some of the best ones from back in the day. I remember something about the reason he had a beard was because there's a fist under his beard where his chin should be or something. He could punch you with his chin. That sounds like a tough guy thing.
He threw a grenade. 50 people died. Then the grenade exploded.
Guys, we have so much more of this movie.
No, I know. I'm just peppering in Chuck Norris jokes.
I love it. It's an endless supply.
Gotta squeeze in the Norris jokes
Okay,
So
so
use them as interstitials.
so the people know.
Chuck Norris.
Or cut them out entirely. Your
They're
choice.
staying. They're staying. So here we get the baddie depot. McQuade and KO are scoping out the place. They're casing the joint. And they're looking at it for all of 2 seconds before he decides to ram his amazing tank truck right through the front gates. And then 2 guys come up, and KO just kicks the shit out of one. Now KO's kind of starting to get McQuade's respect even more.
He's feeling himself, too. Mm-hmm. And then another guy jumps out, and he gets the drop on KO, and Chuck Norris just, slams this guy into this overhead door, high kicks him in the fucking head. It's awesome.
All
Now
of
you're
Chuck
getting
Norris's ass kickings look like they would hurt so much.
Yeah, it's good.
And I like he gives KO like a little nod of approval and a smile after he's beating these people. He's like, now you get it. Like, sometimes we just gotta beat and karate kick these suspects, you know?
It really feels like Cobra Kai season 1, where Johnny Lawrence is like a drunk fucking psycho. That's more like what Lone Wolf McQuade is like. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, you just kicked the shit out of those guys. Let's go drink some shitty
Hurt 'em
beer. And you're
more.
like, thumbs up, bro.
A drunk psycho whose hands are lethal killing weapons.
Yeah.
So they're after this guy named Snow. He's played by William Sanderson. We love this guy.
Lick your bum bum now.
Everybody wanna be like you.
His other song.
Wow, you're
Nice.
throwing a snow deep cut.
Yeah. The other Snow song.
I remember a third one, but I can't sing.
Evil.
Oh, a fourth one even I know.
We've been rocking some Snow around the house lately. I don't know why.
I celebrate his entire catalog.
Legal, tender, and fine.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the one.
That's
That's
But she knows she a dime. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty
Good one.
skeezy song.
shit.
She's legal. She's tender. She's fine. Skibidi boom boom now.
A Ricky boom boom, yeah.
What the hell?
That was like playing at my junior high dance. Like,
Well,
Yeah, we were all legal tenders.
his music's good.
well, he was working with MC Shan. The Jim Carrey roasted him so hard on the In Living Colors bit,
Yeah, I saw that.
and he's like, and we have a
I'm just a middle class white kid from Toronto.
But I sound like I'm from Jamaica.
then we add a legitimate rapper to add credibility.
Anyway,
William
William
Sanderson.
Sanderson.
This guy's awesome.
Blade Runner. He's E.B. Farnham from Deadwood, the general store owner.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's a fucking real actor, character actor.
Another great character guy.
One of my favorite guys in Deadwood. He's got the vocabulary, but he doesn't know what any of the words mean.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
He's got that right, like, sweaty weirdo edge where he's, like, not a normal, handsome leading man. He's kind of a weirdo guy.
I thought he looked like Bobcat Goldthwait in this movie.
Yeah.
He's just, he's out of it. I was like, is that Bobcat?
He's looking young. He's got
go and look
long
it up.
hair.
The law breaks in, announces themselves. The bad guys are like, oh, they all pull their guns out and start opening fire. Chuck Norris is like, remember me, Snow? Jeez! And then everybody, all of Snow's henchmen just start.
Just massacring
Unloading.
people for information.
Snow makes a run for it. He's on his way, and McQuade grabs the truck, and here we get some sweet truck flipping skiing action. Mm-hmm. Chuck Norris is like skiing on his. It's some classic Western shit where the getaway vehicle is going away and he's
Yeah,
grabbing
typically it would be a horse,
Yeah.
but here it's a pickup truck, and it's a good stunt.
Yeah,
and it
totally.
looked like it was really chunk.
Chunk Norris.
Yeah, it looked like it was Chunk. Good job, Chunk. It looked like it was Chuck Norris.
Totally.
He's doing it. He's fucking hanging onto that truck. I've done that a little bit at much lower speeds, and let me tell you, you can really fuck yourself up
Yeah.
doing it, as I did.
Yeah, I think so. And in pretty short order, he finds himself on the hood. He's holding on for dear life as the truck is going every which way. And then he bails. Snow crashes the truck into a gas tanker that was just parked there. McQuade it just happened to be convenient.
Someone quit leaving these bombs, these fucking giant bombs all over the road.
Well, I wish they would just stop leaving these gas trucks around.
Why doesn't somebody clean them up? What is this, a fucking Mario Kart track?
I think I'll write a letter to my senator. Dear senator, gas trucks.
Dear Ted Cruz, please clean up the gas truck bombs that are littering the highways.
So the McQuade pulls Snow out, and the gas truck, just before the truck explodes. I love a good truck explosion. This has got it. And KO wants to call the fire department. He wants to call the fire department. McQuade's like, later.
He's got to talk to him before the feds have him.
Yeah. We'll call the fire truck when I say we call the fire department, KO.
We'll let this whole county burn down.
Let it burn out.
I'd rather the whole county burn than the feds get him, KO.
Should we call anyone? The fire burn out on itself. Leave it long enough.
So now they handcuffed Snow to a wagon wheel, and Dakota comes up out of nowhere. That was the cop who was getting feted earlier for his retirement. The one who looked like a Muppet from the Wild Bunch. He comes up and he just starts fucking roughing him up real good. This guy turns out is just a bastard. Like McQuade too.
This is where they do their
He looked like Colonel Sanders, but
like this is Guantanamo Bay shit they're gonna pull on Snow now. They've got him tied up to this wagon wheel.
Guantanamo Bay.
And yeah, they're not doing it right though. If you've got a wagon
they
wheel,
should have some electricity.
Yeah.
He's just about to start cranking
should
the
be-
metal.
Even
non-stop.
Even the fact that they have a wagon wheel, but they're not using it as a braking wheel in order to break his limbs to get the information.
This movie makes you think that these guys know about advanced interrogation, but actually, if you examine their methods, they don't know shit.
Yeah, you will never get information out of a...
Take a walk around our dungeon. You'll see how you use a braking wheel.
Oh, yeah, you'll see braking wheel, you'll see braking chain, you'll see all the kinds of things you use to break dancers.
We even have a break dancing corner. That's a new addition. We
Breaking
decided
2, electric boogaloo.
we decided the dungeon was a little too dour, so we wanted to add a bit of pop to it. We have the break dancing corner now.
These are the breaks.
That's where all the people with broken limbs go and try to dance.
So it's a little like it takes you out of the movie when you see amateurs doing torture and they're not doing it right.
I'll withhold my disbelief a little bit. So before too long, they get what they want to know out of Snow. And basically, Snow, he doesn't want to snitch too bad. He's like, they're going to kill my son, man. God damn it. He's really been put the wheels to him.
Yeah, he's a bitch. He's just an old hippie.
Yeah, he gets his.
So now we go to McQuade's pad, and he comes home, and Lola is cleaning his place.
Yeah.
She's fucking vacuuming and stuff.
Now,
his
imagine-
kitchen still looks like a mess. Usually that's the first place I clean, personally.
She wants to fuck him so bad, she's going to clean his entire house because there's no clean surface to have sex on in this entire place.
Just imagine though, you come home after a hard day work and there's a beautiful woman in your house cleaning. You're gonna be livid. You're gonna tell her, "Get out of here! Get out of here right now! This is my garbage. You moving my garbage around. My pizza box was over here. My coffee filters, my used coffee filters were in the corner there.
I don't have time for sex, Lola. I gotta roll around shooting shirtless and dust.
There's got to be a murder or something around here.
I ain't got time.
What is this? Vitamins? Yeah, where's my beer? God damn it.
Yeah, she's
No, so that's... This is fucking crazy. The movie doesn't play it like it's comedy.
No.
Like, even Rear Window, which we're referring
Yeah,
to, it is played like...
It's charming.
It gives you...
It's-
I don't know, something about the perspective of the movie and the quality of Jimmy Stewart's acting.
Yeah.
You get that he's being a fucking asshole.
And it builds, like, their relationship is building all throughout that movie in a way that makes sense in Rear Window. But, in this movie, no step along the way does it make any sense, their relationship, really. Like, It doesn't up until the point where at the end she's like, I love you.
She's like ready to settle down with this guy after they almost got in a bar fight.
He is the worst boyfriend in the world.
Yeah.
She gave him vitamins.
Yeah.
He went digging through the trash for his beer like a dumb fucking baby.
Well, you know what?
Lady, if I want to kill myself, it's my business.
She comes in there. She's like, hey, McQuade, we're going to start
That's
a
what he
juice
says.
cleanse. And he's like, I'm not into it. And she's like, I'll take these Liver King pills. And he's like, no, I'm an all-natural
Liver
guy.
King.
He's like, I like to take my shirt off and go out back and shoot my gun into the wooden targets I've set up. And that's how I do my thing. I don't want to do juice cleanse. I don't want vitamins.
So I know Norris is a Republican. I do not know to what extent.
I assume he's like a light Republican, but that's a total assumption. Like, just in terms of like he's probably he doesn't strike me as
Yeah.
like a mega racist guy.
They're not
But
dragging him out to the conventions.
I mean, we can't indict people for what they have in their hearts. Because if we
No,
did, then I would be in jail. But-
here.
we can't, right? You can't indict.
Well,
Right?
yeah, like we'd be all three of us in front of the Geneva Convention right now.
This
Like
podcast can't
Sylvester
be used as
Stallone.
evidence for anything, right?
Like Stallone, Sylvester, anyway. Not
Stallone, Sylvester.
Frank. So I'm there.
Sylvester.
Frank.
I'm there with Frank Stallone
And Jackie
and
Stallone.
Dean Norris.
This is where they make sweet, tender love, right?
They don't make love. They just kiss a bunch.
They do.
Let's be
some
clear about that.
smooching. I don't know if there's ever. I don't think he ever.
They don't take clothes off.
Drops
they
a
don't
deposit.
even feel each other up particularly. They're just
No.
kissing.
So this is where the movie asks us to suspend our disbelief more than ever before, and where we're led to believe that Chuck Norris is capable of having fun.
Yeah.
They have a bit of a hose spray mud fight, and he's rolling around. They're rolling around laughing.
And it's weird to watch Chuck Norris try to have fun. You know, you can just see like the gears turning.
It's like Tom Cruise. Some actors you just can't. You don't imagine they're capable of fun.
No, they're not having fun at any point.
Yeah. I mean, I think in general it's just awkward to try to like watching actors try to have like a spontaneous fun moment like this, because you know the director's like, okay, now splash each other with the hose, and no, okay, now run around this pole 3 times.
Yeah,
and
that's a
like,
lot to ask for actors who are good actors.
Yeah, and let alone a guy.
It depends on the tone of the movie.
Yeah.
Even a low budget movie can do that well, or like
Yeah.
a really well acted movie can do it. This movie is neither.
no.
But it's a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
we're going back to the
movie's
horse.
better
track.
than all high budget and low budget movies. This is the best mid budget movie. This is down the middle. This is for
Yes.
everyone's uncle.
This is like a template movie. This is like a template for this exact budget of action movie. You know, like this is not the next level up where it's like a James Cameron or something like that. This is like the level slightly below that.
This
where
is by the numbers.
Yeah.
Cannon would have done this movie if they could have.
this felt like a canon movie. Yeah,
This is
for
like
sure.
somewhere between a canon movie. It's not quite a canon ripoff, but it's not quite a Under Siege or a Hard Target.
Yeah.
Or a Terminator.
It's a Cannon plus.
that ilk.
Yeah, it's just like a one tiny notch above a canon knockoff,
Back at the
which
horse.
is of course like 5 notches above a Trauma.
Yes. No. Yeah. We haven't done any trauma movies.
No, I mean it's
all in
pretty
good
low.
time.
Maybe Toxic Avenger.
Surf Nazis must die.
Yeah, there's some good ones.
Back at the horse track, McQuade's on the case. He goes up. Raleigh's main goon, or is this Falcone's main goon? I guess. He's like, sorry, this is by invitation only. McQuade points to his badge. This is my invitation. McQuade, he messes up this little henchman guy, and he makes it in there, and Falcone's there. He's like, so the Lone Wolf McQuade pays us a visit. As you can see, mine's bigger. He pulls a gun on him, and McQuade pulls his gun out. He's like, mine's loaded. And
Falcone whips his out. He's like, mine's circumcised. And then
Eagle Claw.
mine's not.
Yeah, and so they have a little exchange here. Well, Falcone gets away real quick. He just kind of eases his wheelchair back to the... yeah.
He's escaping.
He puts a switch on. And
He's escaping.
The wall starts to rotate. And the actor, Falcone, just has like a look of kind of mild terror on his face as the floor starts to move underneath him. Like
I've seen too many dwarfs be ground up in the gears.
I don't know if this thing is going to work.
Set design.
And so yeah, he goes away. McQuade is left in the dust. I don't know. He's left behind.
Yeah,
We
can't
go-
catch him.
We go back to Snow and Dakota, back where they have Snow all tied up. Oh, right. Okay, so right before Falcone does his little thing where he goes behind the wall, he's like, I've heard that Snow isn't going to see the next day alive," or something like this. Basically telling him that he's a dead man. So we cut back to Snow and Dakota.
What do you mean by that? Not see the next day alive? Like he's gonna die?
I don't understand what you mean.
You and your metaphorical language.
Put it plainly.
Falcone's too smart for his own good.
Yeah. And so back at the torture shack, the boys are playing cards, and Snow's cuffed to a chair. Dakota's playing with KO, and it looks like Dakota's cleaning house here.
Yeah.
This is happening, and we kind of get a little glimpse through the door behind Dakota. There's some bad guys. There's some goons milling about. They burst in. They just start lighting the place up, start firing rounds left and right.
Yeah. Dakota doesn't work out so well for him, which you kind of don't feel that bad for him because he's sort of been torturing Snow here, tied up during this poker game where
Yeah.
he's like, he's making a real meal out of torturing this guy.
So Dakota is, I don't know, I think he is retired, right? That was his...
Yeah.
Like, it's not like in Hell or High Water where he's on one last case. Like,
No.
Him torturing Snow is just what he's doing in his personal time, right? It's for fun.
I'm a free man now. I'm not bound by the restrictions of the law. I could torture. I could poke you in the eye if I want. That's what I'd do if I was a cop.
So yeah, when Dakota gets lit up, it's no great loss, but we're expected to believe that it's a very sad thing.
The whole place just gets burst in on by these bandits, and Dakota gets killed, and KO's in the back. I thought it was pretty funny. They kick open the door behind KO, and he's just like, "Oh fuck!" and he jumps out of the way while they open fire with machine guns.
Dakota gets killed by Raleigh. Carradine walks in and just puts his boot on his throat and just breaks his neck with his heel. It's pretty gruesome.
That's a good way. That's a good humiliating way to die. You know, to give Lone Wolf McQuade additional
The
stakes.
same way David Carradine killed himself.
How ironic.
Looks like you better get a spotter, Kaio.
Looks like you got a taste of your own medicine, Carradine.
Safety first. That's where he got the idea from.
McQuade shows up. Dakota's dead. Snow's dead. KO's a sad boy.
Oh, yeah, he's got his head in his hands. He's like, "I'm a fucking weakling. If only I were a strong, powerful white man like you."
I'm not masculine like you, McQuade.
I'm not a lone wolf. I need a pack. I'm a beta wolf.
I want to roll around in the dirt and shoot guns like you, McQuade.
Yeah.
Please, let's smell each other's butts. Like proper wolves.
Let me smell your butt, McQuade. I need to smell what it feels like to be a real man, McQuade. Just let me smell your butt. Well, okay, Kaio.
McQuade silently unbuckles his belt.
David Carradine's like, "Hey, are you done with that belt?"
Give it.
Man, this is some erotic fan fiction. So
Then the lone wolf, McQuade's dog, walks in.
Got a new dossier on a serial killer. He always takes the victim's belts. We don't know what he's doing with them. Shoots the place up, takes a belt. That's all. Doesn't take the money, leaves the jewelry intact.
Is it a sexual compulsion detective?
good God.
So McQuade goes into headquarters and he walks into an intervention of sorts. There's
Which it should be.
Yeah.
For God's sake, this alcoholic is running around with an Uzi shooting everyone in the county.
I mean, somebody's got to disappear this guy. This guy is like a menace. He's trashing the name of the Texas Rangers.
He's sipping his juice in the hood.
I don't normally support the death penalty,
No.
but like, if anyone ever belonged in the electric chair, it's Lone Wolf McQuade.
You know?
He has a bigger body count than Judge Dredd.
Oh,
If we're talking fascist cops, like,
Oh, yeah.
He's killed more people than Ebola. It's off the charts.
call him Lone Wolf 2000 if they knew the truth of it.
You Texas Rangers are somewhere between cockroaches and the film that forms on the sides of your mouth when you're really thirsty.
So, every level of government, it seems, is involved in this meeting. They got some guy from the military, some guy from the feds, his captain. Everybody's just like, you fucked up. You took this witness into your own custody and tortured him, and he's dead now, and you didn't get any information. You're off the case, McQuade. You're out of here.
You want my star, Captain?
No, it won't come to that now. It won't come to that yet.
They don't take it.
It's so bullshit that the man is trying to get in the way of a cop trying to do good
He's just doing his job.
in this world.
He's
And you
trying to
got
do good.
bureaucracy. It's the problem.
It's all this red tape.
Yeah, exactly. Get rid of it. We
All
just
these
need.
liberals.
Why don't we have just like 75 Lone Wolf McQuades throughout the country, and they just go and do their thing, and they solve the crimes?
Just got to deputize people, the right
Yeah,
people.
exactly. The people who have the sense of
the
justice.
right people.
Yeah, none of those left people.
So,
You need a killer to fight a killer.
so McQuade goes back home, and Lola's just making herself at home there. And at this point, I notice we don't know much about Lola. We know two things about her. One, she hates wearing a bra.
Yeah, which
And two, she just can't stop kissing a sweaty, drunk orangutan.
and like relatable. You know, like I don't like wearing a bra, and I love kissing the sweaty drunk orangutan. I've never related more to someone in a movie.
No shade, no shame.
I'm not kink shaming.
No.
I think it's great she doesn't wear a bra. I think she has awful taste in men.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't.
David Carradine, I mean, that guy carries himself in a way, I'd be on him, but
David Carradine's the suave, sophisticated villain. He probably has
she
a pretty
fucks
good.
him. He fucks.
Yeah, they
like,
fuck.
Take a look at his fucking pants.
Yeah.
That guy fucks.
Yeah, and he's got a
Yeah.
wine cellar.
Chuck
This guy's
Norris-
got taste.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chuck Norris kisses. That's
can,
as far as you're getting with him.
Chuck Norris is a sweaty drunk orangutan, but you know, David Carradine, he's like a sweaty drunk bonobo. He's like a much more sexual type of primate, and it's much more erotic.
Yeah, I've always thought bonobos are the most sexual primates.
they
I'm
love
glad we
it.
finally got to talk about this for a minute.
Yeah, they're dirty. They're no good. They put us humans to shame.
I've seen bonobos do things that would make a billy goat puke.
I always think about this, and I think it's the best interaction I've ever seen on Twitter. Maybe I've even brought it up on the podcast before, but some right-winger was like, I'll kill every ape on the planet to save one human. And then somebody responded, would you suck every ape's dick to save one human?
Fuck no.
It's the philosophy question for our time.
Would you do first aid to save a human? No.
Don't ever question my ability to protect my family.
Yeah.
Can't I just kill the apes? Isn't that a thing? I would kill every ape to top up my retirement fund.
I mean, why can't I just kill something? Why do I have to suck it? Why can't I just kill it?
Can I kill every ape to buy my first home? That would be a great way to get into my first home.
What if you had to what if you had to get topped by every bonobo in existence
They're tender.
to get your first home?
You know what? Bonobos have small genitals. It wouldn't bother me. I don't even think I would notice.
like that video that was going around our group chat recently. It's like, so I just about halfway getting run through by 2,000 bonobos. I get a mortgage after this. I've never been run through by so many bonobos in my life.
And, you know, just being cocky about it, like, and I don't even care. I didn't even notice. 1,000 bonobos didn't even bother me.
I recently got famous for getting run through by 12 bonobos, and I'm going to go for 12,000.
Yeah, I mean, the hardest part would be just the time crunch. You would have to schedule things pretty tight for that kind of activity.
So back at McQuade's place, it's nighttime. They had their drunk orangutan kiss, and now this car eases up the driveway with the headlights off. And these fucking assholes, they shoot his dog.
Oh yeah, man.
I mean, this is a bridge too far, you know.
Well, now it's personal.
Now it's personal to the power of 5.
It was personal after they shot Dakota. It was a little bit personal after they ran his daughter off a cliff, a small cliff, but
that
a cliff.
was a little baby personal. They didn't kill her; they just ran her off a cliff.
And
Replace ran over his dog with son and ran over with repeatedly
and reversed.
So now they've killed his dog, and McQuade's pissed off about it. He has a sixth sense, though. He's able to get out of bed and put on his swivel pants in time.
Smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
McQuade sees his dead dog.
It's a tough life.
Yeah, they fire guns into the bedroom, and he's like, down low.
Yeah.
And they just take off, and they're like, ha, 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 we're so evil.
We laid the
killed your
perfect
dog.
trap.
Yeah.
This is all just some plan of Raleigh to bait McQuade.
And you know,
I don't know why.
It's actually like a pretty good strategy because I know, like, usually when you kill someone's pet, they don't fuck with you anymore. Like, if you want to not be dealing with it
that's
anymore.
a great way to get someone
that's
off
like-
your back is to murder their beloved animal.
Their most beloved family member who has never backtalked them or betrayed them and has only shown them love and affection.
That's not the best way to start a vendetta.
Yeah, famously.
Yeah. Take care of that, and you get them right out of the way.
Yeah.
Take care of the only thing they care about, and they won't come after.
There's
you
going to be hell to
Killed
pay.
the fucking Baba Yaga's dog.
Baba Yaga's dog.
Not smart. Yeah.
McQuade killed a person with a fucking pencil.
It's true. Dogs are a weak spot in the human psyche. There's even that website, like, does the dog get killed, where people can just, like, look up, does a dog die in this movie? I don't care if a human dies.
What was this research
movie.
part of? Was this part of your research
is-
into the weaknesses of the human psyche? Or
Yeah,
is
the
this something
human
else?
psyche. Humans don't care much for other humans, but that we very much love cute kitties and puppy dogs. So,
Yeah, that explains why my friend's cat has 500 times as many Instagram followers as we do right now.
that's hilarious. Yeah, a guy at my work's dog has an Instagram as well, and I haven't checked because I don't want to be I don't want that existential crisis, but I'm sure
The
it has.
human heart can only take so
Yeah.
much.
I'm certain it has several thousand times the followers we have.
So after McQuade takes his poor limp dying dog, he walks off and leaves Lola standing on the porch, and he just walks off into the nighttime carrying his dead dog. And
I'm sure you're fine, honey.
yeah, like their room was riddled with bullets. She's totally fine.
Moments earlier.
Yeah.
But this is Texas.
These are Texas
This
rules.
happens, you know.
Sally's being
Sorry,
discharged.
I'm a city slicker.
Us city slickers don't understand open carry. Sally's being
You
discharged.
ain't never been in a firefight. Neither are you twos. You ain't lived till you've been in a. I hope this very night I get killed in a firefight so that I don't have to retire from the High and Low podcast because I couldn't handle it.
Retirement will come in a forced manner. Trust us.
Yeah.
When your usefulness for the podcast is
It's a planned obsolescence. I don't like it.
Sally's out of the hospital. She gets taken home. She gives Chuck Norris a big old bristly bearded hug. Mm-hmm. And McQuade goes back to his place, and Jackson, he's the Fed who showed up earlier. He's at McQuade's place, and it's about time that the Rangers and the Feds teamed up.
Yeah, Jackson's like, yeah, you're pretty jittery for a ranger. Well, you're pretty quiet for a Fed. Now listen, I'm not the token N-word. Get to the point.
What was this? This movie just threw that in our face. Was there like a trope going around at this time where there was like the token black guy in movies who was like the establishment man or something?
I'm impressed that the term token N-word
Yeah, that
was
feels like
used in 1983.
Yeah, it turns
I
out
thought
it's
that was like a
over 40
South
years
Park
old.
invention. Like, I thought South Park invented the tokenism.
I knew it was around before South Park, but yeah, I guess this goes back pretty far.
It must have been a thing in the zeitgeist, eh?
But this guy addresses it, says he isn't it,
Yeah.
but he also is it.
But like, yeah.
But he can throw
totally.
down.
Yeah,
He's
He
just there to
is.
make the movie seem a little less racist than it is.
It's really weird.
It is weird.
They needed Lone Wolf McQuade to team up with two people.
Well, it's weird because like that was a line in the script, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we got to cast a black person, I guess,
It's just
so he can say this line." And then it's like, what does it mean? Like, it's hard to parse just because I think maybe we're like a couple decades away. I can't parse this. I don't know.
we'll parse this.
Toggle switch, super speed.
Jackson McQuade, they start flying around on a helicopter. They're looking for some baddie depots. They want to find out where Raleigh is because now it's personal 3 times over, and that's pretty personal for McQuade.
Yeah, it might even be like 7 times over at this point. It's hard to keep track.
They fly over some hangars. McQuade gets a bad feeling about it. They decide to go back, get the rest of the
Yeah.
candy ass feds with them.
Bunch of pussies. They don't even know karate.
They're going. So these feds, they think they're big shots. I forget the leader's name, but the leader's a real piece of work.
Yeah.
And they're going, and their truck gets stuck. Wouldn't you know it? It gets stuck in a big old dusty rut. Probably gets stuck in some
Man.
bug dust.
Didn't they even think to put 4x4 tires on their vehicle? if
Didn't
they're
they
gonna
think
be
to
driving around?
supercharge it?
Classic feds. They're so used to working in the city where there's great paved roads.
So they're stuck. McQuade comes up, just totally embarrasses them, pushes them out of the rut, and then just takes the lead and starts driving.
He's like, here, you got to put kitty litter in the tire rut, and then you can gain traction when your tire goes on the kitty litter, and then you can get out of the tire rut in the mud. These are the tricks you learn when you don't drive on city roads all the time.
They pull up to the baddie depot, and they kind of make a loose plan. They're scoping out the baddies. There's just a bunch of generic goons milling about. It's a bad guy factory, right?
Yeah,
They've
there's
got
all these just,
forklifts
like-
and weapons, rockets, missiles, stuff like that.
Like you say, bad guy depots, just like kind of. I guess the bad guys in this are arms dealers, so it makes sense that their little bases are just like, hey, here's a little bad guy base with a bunch of rocket launchers and grenades and like machine guns where
So-
actions like.
I'm going to throw this into our lexicon because I've threw it in the notes a couple times. These types of things in movies are baddie depots. They're
Yeah.
just these areas where there's about
Yes.
a few dozen guys who are totally expendable. They're probably going to do some
Yeah.
backflips with explosions happening, stuff like that.
It's a great.
Just stuntmen, and they're sitting
Yeah.
there next to tankers full of gas.
Yeah, the location is a very easy location to film at. It's probably a warehouse. They
Or
probably
a bunch of grass huts filled
Yeah.
with explosive
yeah,
barrels.
Very easy. A place no one will care about if you destroy it.
Just in a completely open field with some explosive barrels.
Yeah, bad guy depots. You know them. You love
Baddie
'em.
depots.
If you're gonna watch a generic action movie, you're gonna have several of these generic bad guy depots throughout it. It's just the way it goes.
They're everywhere.
They're
We just need
Might be in your neighborhood.
We
I can't
Take a bite out of baddie depots.
I can't take a walk down the street without tripping over one of these baddie depots, and I don't like it.
My neighbor's just always milling about with a belt-fed machine gun. What do I do, high and low? I think my neighbor's house is a baddie depot.
I'm going to post on Nextdoor about it.
Fire. Shoot him.
Also, I saw a coyote in the neighborhood the other day. Here's a picture on my Ring camera. You can barely make it out.
Has
Take
anybody
a bite out of crime.
Kill it.
Has anybody tried that new pizza place? By the way, I think my neighbor's a baddie.
If I see a coyote in my neighborhood, I'm putting anti-personnel mines all over the ground. I'm digging little
More than you already have.
more than I. This will be like people will not be able to enter this neighborhood for the next 100 years. This is like a human rights catastrophe.
It's a labor getting into the studio every time.
I don't want to see any coyotes around here because I own a house cat. And I'm an irresponsible house cat owner, and I let him go outside.
Yeah, and your cat keeps killing all my mine detecting rats.
Well, it's perfect. The cat is just light enough to not set off the mines, so heavier animals will set off the mines, and like the coyotes, and it's a whole ecosystem. It's beautiful.
McQuade
It's beautiful.
McQuade thinks this has all been entirely too easy. He thinks it's a trap. But Burnside, that's the name of that real fool fed guy. This guy sucks.
Yeah.
He decides to blow up their entire spot, and yet again in this movie, we have some lawman announcing his intentions, and every single bad guy in the vicinity just unloads on him, just starts spraying bullets everywhere.
But it's just by the grace of God that all the bad guys in this movie do have stormtrooper aim. So despite the fact
What a
that
dumb fucking dummy.
Stormtrooper aim enough to miss McQuade, Jackson, and KO, but Burnside and all these other fed assholes, they get lit up. This whole time, Raleigh, he's in his helicopter watching it from above. After the dust has settled a little bit, he lands. McQuade tries to fight through a bunch of goons, and for the first time, he's bested.
Yeah.
He's met like
He's taken down by a bunch of guys. They
Yeah.
all take him on at once.
yeah.
this has to happen in the hero's journey, right? He needs his moment
Yeah.
of total
He's shot.
humiliation.
He's shot in the arm.
Yeah.
They've
McQuade,
got him. They're holding him down. He's like, "You son of a bitch!"
I don't like you holding me down like the. Let me go of me.
Carradine comes up, just starts decking him. You know that typical bully bad guy thing where it's like, no, hold him up. He's got his goons to hold him up. And
Yeah.
He's just smoking him in the face, kicking him in the stomach, all that.
The extra
Yeah, it's awesome.
humiliation.
Carradine is the best part of this movie.
Totally.
Carradine.
Well, the best part of this movie is what happens in about 2 minutes after McQuade gets buried alive in his truck. But yeah, Carradine's a really
Yeah.
good part of this movie.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah, if Carradine was McQuade.
He's the best actor in the movie.
Oh, hands down. Yeah. David Carradine's the best. Love that guy.
Yeah. So Lola, she's standing there next to Raleigh. She's like, "Oh no, I didn't sign off on this. Oh, why are you beating up my other boyfriend? Oh." And they load McQuade into his truck, and he's barely conscious. Raleigh steals his star, his Texas Ranger
Yeah.
badge.
Now it's personal.
That's
Yeah.
like that's like if you
Now
take his
it's
penis.
personal for the 17th time.
That's emasculating. That's like if you-
McQuade's like, and he keeps getting up and then slumping down and like, he's like, something
is-
to remember you by.
This is-
Adios.
it's like stealing Austin Powers' mojo. It's like RoboCop getting tortured by
He's cut
Boddicker.
He's cut
It's
Samson's hair.
This is
That's
exactly.
the thing about Texas Rangers. Like, nothing means more to them than that Texas
Yeah,
Lone Star.
it's like you can cut my leg off. You
Yeah.
can steal my hat. I
It's
don't
not
care.
being an American. It's not being a man. It's none of those things. Being a Texan.
Are you American? No, I'm Texan.
Yeah, it's above all else. That's
right.
what the fuck you are.
Yeah.
So they bulldoze this Texan right into a big old pit. And for the second
That's
movie in
where
a
he
row,
should have stayed in a just world.
Yeah. It's only fitting.
the world was a better place after they buried Lone Wolf McQuade out in
For
the hills.
those blissful few minutes, McQuade was buried under fucking 10 feet of dirt.
It's
Nobody died during those 10 minutes.
the spirits.
Yeah, the world was at peace.
A million dead ghosts that
So-
had been killed extrajudicially by him were like,
Based on this and Hell or
Justice.
High Water, the best way to get rid of a car in Texas is just to bury it.
I thought it seemed like a pretty genius idea.
They must have pretty soft soil there.
It's a lot of sands. It's a lot of sedimentary stuff.
Yeah.
It was
Did
all
you know, by the way, that Chuck Norris could gargle sand?
Yeah. I did. I learned that earlier today during some research.
Well, he couldn't quite gargle this sand. He's buried under about, I don't know, 20 tons of it.
It's a good thing he has a bunch of cold beers in his truck.
Yeah.
He just starts like dousing himself in beer and drinking beer.
So he's like Popeye, but beer is his spinach.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't make him stronger, it makes him better at driving his truck or something.
Yeah.
He just starts screaming and like putting his truck into high gear.
Yeah, and then he flips to the toggle switch, because you remember, this is actually a Texas Ranger Batmobile that has a super
got so many
speed
beer.
toggle switch. So he drinks the beer to give him the courage to flip the switch, and then, he injects the NOS, and then he erupts through 20 feet of gravel and dirt and sediment and just shoots through the ground with his super monster truck Texas Ranger Batmobile.
And meanwhile, KO's shooting it out with these guys.
He
He's
never
picking
expected.
them off like stormtroopers too, of course.
KO manages to do it. And
His truck. There's no way a truck could unbury itself like this.
no way
Insane.
at all.
No, there would be. It couldn't. There would be no.
If it had rockets attached to it, it wouldn't.
It's a James Bond car or a Batmobile or something like that.
Or,
It's got
yeah.
superpowers.
It's Uma Thurman in Kill Bill Volume 2 when she punches her way out of the grave. It's like an impossible, but very impressive.
You know how I know what happened? Because I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it on celluloid, and a picture is worth 1,000 words.
And McQuade falls out of his truck after he gets out. All the bad guys have been shot. Carradine's gone. KO runs up to McQuade. He's like, Don't die on me now, damn it. No, don't die on me now.
Get me a beer, kid.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's so happy.
It's like the beard caused his blood to not be able to coagulate.
And he
Blood
produces
out.
another one of these infinite beers. And he's pouring it down Chuck Norris's throat, and he's getting stronger and stronger with each sip.
Start to see his fingers twitching and his arms are moving. He's back to life.
I mean, we can't deny the science of this. I've been experiencing it myself this entire podcast. Every drink I get stronger. The science
Sun's
is
getting low, Mitch.
irrefutable.
Turns
Science.
out Jackson's still alive, so the three banditos, they're all okay. McQuade, he's on the mend. He's got that, probably broke some ribs or something. He's got some tape around his ribs. He's trying to do his shirtless shooting practice, but he can't shoot his gun no more.
Yeah.
It hurts him.
That's like,
And it makes him so mad.
yeah.
Is this where he starts?
Yeah. So he can't hold a gun and shoot it with the kickback of his giant fucking god killer cannon.
But he can kick. He can still kick.
Hell yeah, he just goes, and he jump kicks his shed apart. There's like these support beams on his tool shed.
Yeah. You guys ever been that angry that you just jump kick something apart?
I've taken down a structure or two, I'm sure.
Yeah, me too. I never did the jump kick though. I didn't have the dexterity.
Yeah, you're a boxer.
I'm a boxing man. I punched the structure until it collapsed.
Hey, maybe Rocky could fight you in the next movie.
What if Rocky shows up and he trains McQuade? Shows him how to maybe use his fist more than his legs.
Hey, what if Tulsa King comes out of retirement and fights Mitchell?
Oh, have you seen this Tulsa King? It's a beautiful show. Everybody's talking about Tulsa King.
Fuck.
McQuade, you can't be drinking that much beer. Beer's not good for egg yolks. Why don't you drink these eggs, McQuade?
Tulsa King comes for me in a dream. You better wake up and apologize.
So we are starting to barrel towards the end of this movie. We find out Sally's missing. Raleigh and his guys pulled up and they kidnapped Sally or something like that.
Shit got personal to the power of, 18?
Yeah.
Something.
It's personal
So-
again, yeah.
So now Falcone shows up, and he tells McQuade that Raleigh has his daughter. So little Orson Welles, Falcone offers to help in exchange for getting certain assets returned to him.
I have no problem with Falcone throughout this whole movie. I don't know.
He's a good, honest criminal.
He's a little dwarf man, and they try to do the thing where they're like, because he's physically different, he's like a weird bad guy, but he's honest in his dealings throughout this entire movie. He's like the good bad guy.
Yeah, and he gets double-crossed by,
Yeah.
Lone Wolf McQuade.
Lone Wolf McQuade is the treacherous.
He's always been the
worm
bad
in
guy.
this.
All of Falcone's misdeeds are affecting people very, very far away. He's a
exactly.
bad guy on a global scale with his arms straight.
And who cares about them? So far away.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Who cares about the Contras?
Coney 2012.
Yeah.
Never forget.
He's arming militias, but what's the difference?
So McQuade's heading down Mexico way. Cayo's like, let me come. I gotta help and come with you. And he's like, no way, kid. We can't have two wolves in a pack. Just won't work. That's the thing about a lone wolf. We're alone. Okay, you get it? Okay.
Two wolves.
Kyle, come here for a minute. What's the name of the movie? Is it
Yeah.
McQuade and Friends?
Is this small pack?
I think it's
McQuade?
Lone Wolf McQuade, Kyle.
Is this Wolf Pack McQuade? I don't think so. This is Lone Wolf McQuade. You can't have two lone wolves. That's like having two left hands. You need a left hand and a right hand. You need to be able to tie your shoes. You can't do it with two left hands.
One hand washes the other.
Yeah, exactly. You need a hand. What hand do you wipe your ass with? Only a lone wolf.
Every lone wolf knows you don't eat with the hand you wipe your ass with.
Yeah, exactly. Don't shit where you eat.
That's some good cowboy wisdom.
McQuade pulls into a gas station. The gas attendant is the dirtiest man in the world. He's just caked head to toe in oil and mud and dirt and muck. Everybody's just kind of eyeing him up. This guy, he doesn't look like he's from around there.
It looks like he escaped from the high-low dungeon.
Mitch left the door open again.
Get him. McQuade.
All these Mexican women, they're in Mexico. They're Mexican women.
It's like a little...
they're praying for some reason. And they just love him so much. They're like, oh my God, we have to pray and die for this man.
What was that
Yeah.
Spanish word for the Texas Rangers?
Oh, El Diablo Tejano or something. The Texas Devils.
Diablo Tejano. Diablo Tejano.
They're crossing the border. The Texas Devils weren't meant to cross the border. Lone Wolf McQuade.
Yeah, they
knows
pray for
no
him. They put a bunch
jurisdiction.
of flowers all over the hood of his truck. And he's like, Senor, they're wishing you well.
Why?
Yeah, why?
I have no
What
idea
possible
why.
reason?
This gringo pulls up and everybody's losing their shit.
Yeah, they're like, you are the white savior.
It's insane. And that's when Jackson shows up. You didn't think I'd miss all the fun, did you?
Jackson!
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, what are we playing? Star Fox 64?
Jackson,
Do
you weren't important to this
Wabble,
movie, but
wabble,
welcome back. Jackson.
a barrel roll, McQuade. So it turns out that Jackson is completely tooled up. His
Yeah.
truck is just packed to the gunnels with all sorts of firearms. He's got a crossbow. That impresses the hell out of McQuade. He's got
nice
grenades.
crossbow. What are we fighting? Dracula?
Yeah, like, is this standard issue military equipment? No, this is
Fuck
like
are we doing?
No, I bought this off of Falcone.
we're gonna make some traps around the estate. We're gonna do some punji sticks. We're gonna infect them with our shit. We're gonna all kinds of Geneva Convention.
And KO shows up too. We just have to get the whole gang together.
Yeah, they're all there and they're
And
ready
it's like,
to go
okay,
down.
I guess you're here too. I know we just had a big scene where I said goodbye to you, and I said you weren't going to be a part of this, and now you're just a part of this.
I am so game for the three of these guys to go cause some trouble, though. It's a fun dynamic.
Kill them all.
Kinda,
Three guys is a good, blow them up posse.
yeah.
So now
Kinda. It's a wild bunch.
Yeah, 3 guys goes good together. 3 men and a baby.
they try to play it a little bit like it's Three the Hard Way or something like
Human
that. where
centipede.
Yeah,
The payoff they give here,
you need a
it's-
thorax.
they make it seem like
abdomen.
each of these guys is almost as much of a badass as McQuade, but that's not really been shown at all up to this point.
These guys are not even close to as badass as McQuade.
No, KO's mostly been lightly. His role has been to make McQuade seem like more of a badass. I feel like because he'll always be like, "Oh," when a situation happens. Oh, but I mean, he'll prove himself though. He'll also punch a guy in the face. So.
Yeah, at least Jackson's shown up with the hardware.
Yeah, he's the kind of serious guy you don't want to mess with.
I mean, did either of these guys ever kill 2 stones with 1 bird? Because Chuck Norris did.
Well, it doesn't go into that.
And we bring ourselves to the final showdown. This is Raleigh's ultimate baddie depot. This is where all of his weapons are going to. I don't really know what this place is, but there's a whole bunch of explosive barrels littered every which way.
His big deal with McQuade was, I will give you this location, but don't destroy the weapons because those are my weapons that I use to make my evil money off of.
Yeah. Like they give a fuck. This is just the last level of GoldenEye N64.
Yeah, exactly. You're in the bad guy depot, the explosive bad guy depot.
So in comes the crossbow attack. They're shooting a bunch of guys with the crossbow, and they're just like silently die. I don't know. I feel like if I get shot in the back with a crossbow bolt, I might say, fuck, I'm shot in the back with a crossbow bolt.
What the fuck?
Yeah. What is this? This isn't a bullet. I was not expecting to be killed by this.
There's no way you wouldn't alert others around you if you're shot with a fucking crossbow
The rule
bolt.
with crossbows and bows and these types of silent weapons is they kill you instantly.
Yeah.
There's no time to make any sort of sound. You just die immediately.
That's the video game logic.
Yeah.
Okay.
In reality, if I get hit by a crossbow, I'm saying, please shoot me in the head. Shoot me in the head with the gun because this crossbow it's very slow the way it's killing me, and I'm in extreme
very
pain.
badly.
A bullet would be a kindness.
Yeah, please fire your weapons.
Oh, great. Now you're dragging me through the dust because you think my my corpse is going to attract some guards.
In any case, I'm not going to be silent.
Oh, you're putting rags in my mouth. Well, I don't care what they're doing.
What are these rags soaked in?
All right, I'm dead. You kill me now? Fuck you.
Is this that orangutan sweat rags?
What is that pearl beer?
Definitely from a barnyard somewhere.
McQuade's got to soak his chloroform rags in pearl beer.
I feel like his sweat would just taste like pearl beer.
Yeah. You smell like a distillery, McQuade. It's disgusting.
So they sneak in. McQuade finds his daughter and Lola where they're being held hostage. He hugs his daughter for a second. And he just like kind of pushes her out of the way, and he's like, "Oh, Lola," and he goes and
He, like,
kisses
shoves her
and
into the
hugs her.
Yeah.
He shoves Sally into the bed. He's like, Lola, it's time for beard kisses.
Yeah,
It's kiss o'clock.
that's what he says.
Starts smooching her. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
I'm gonna use that one. Guaranteed to make the
Yeah.
panties drop.
Especially if they're already inexplicably into you, like Lola is. It's like she fell in love with my shithole that I live in. What can I say?
So they see them wandering around the hideout. Hey, where do you think you're going, dude? And this guy's got a gun. And he's pointed right at him, and he's up the stairs from this guy. So he does a side kick,
Smart.
and he fucking knocks the guy down, knocks the gun out of his hands, and then pulls out a sawed-off shotgun and just fucking blasts him. It's game on.
A fitting end.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were trying to be stealthy at first. They were actually like moving bodies into like shadowy corners and stuff, like a siphon filter.
Raleigh comes out. He's wearing an Argyle sweater. He must have just been reading, I don't know, Charlotte's Web to a bunch of first graders.
He looks sophisticated.
Yeah. He looks great. Very wholesome.
This man couldn't be an international weapons dealer.
Yeah, KO, he starts blasting RPGs all over the place. He's camped up on the hill.
That would be fun.
Yeah, some guy comes up to him and he's like, "Remember me, Greaser?" Yeah, I'd never forget an asshole. He blows that guy to pieces.
Gets his revenge for that guy misused the greaser term, so he had to get killed, and he did.
A greaser is Matt Dillon. We've
Yeah.
been over this. Raleigh He's got a turret. He's firing away.
He's found his way into like some sort of armored vehicle, and he's just on top of it, just firing
having
indiscriminately.
He's having a good time.
Can't aim for shit.
Yeah.
We're at the climax of the movie. There's just explosions everywhere. There's stuntmen doing the thing where a big explosion hits and they go flipping end over end a couple of times.
I love that so much.
Impressive.
I know. You never see it anymore, and it's so good.
Yeah.
It's always good.
We might never see her again.
Yeah, squibs exploding.
We're never gonna see it again. Jackson gets hit in all this mayhem. Shit. Ah, damn it.
He's more like, shit. Aw.
Damn it. Damn it.
Yeah, McQuade gets into a bulldozer. He's got the blade up, and he's coming towards Raleigh, and Raleigh's shooting his gun at it. He's like, ah!
Shoot above the blade.
Well,
No.
it's not going to get through the blade of that bulldozer.
I love it when in these situations the hero gets in a big armored vehicle and starts plowing ahead, and they're just invincible for a minute. It's like when you get the star in Mario, they can just go do whatever they want and nothing's gonna touch them.
It's satisfying, like the hammer in Donkey Kong.
Can't be
Yeah.
stopped.
Yeah, and Raleigh gets into like an armored personnel carrier kind of military truck, and he's like, I guess I'll ram this into this bulldozer. I don't know what he thought was gonna fucking happen.
I guess
You're
we're
not
having
gonna win.
We're having an old-fashioned cockfight now.
It's hard to beat a bulldozer.
No, when it comes to pushing vehicles, that's the pushingest vehicle.
Yes, I'm
That's,
pretty sure that's like the vehicle that's designed to push.
to push the heaviest loads possible.
You know, that sounds like some wise cowboy wisdom, doesn't it? Like, it's hard to beat a bulldozer. A bulldozer designed to push.
When you're pushing,
Can't push back.
can't push harder than a pushing
It
vehicle.
was designed
Maybe if
for,
Roddy was driving a Ram, maybe he could push a bulldozer back.
maybe if he had the supercharge on his...
I ride that tractor like a rented mule.
What was the diamond in the goat's ass one? That truck's like a
It's
diamond.
prettier than a diamond in a goat's asshole.
My truck.
I looked at that goat's asshole and it said, "Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?" And I said, "Yes."
Saying something. Goat's ass. There ain't many creatures have an asshole.
I gotta shit like an old goat. Hang on.
I got a shit like a goat on a flat rock.
Yeah, I got I'm shaking like a dog shitting peach pits.
That might be the best Texas slang. I'm shaking like a dog eating peach pits. That's rich because, you know, everyone has an experience of a dog eating something it shouldn't have eaten. Whether it be a stick of butter or the tinsel off the Christmas tree. And, you know, they have no...
My sister has a good story about that where her dog ate her panties and then she had taken her out for a walk and she was shitting out her panties and she went running into a soccer game with these panties fucking hanging halfway out of her asshole and then dropped these like shit covered panties into the middle of like a kid's soccer game.
Let's go. We're leaving.
She had never been more embarrassed.
Let's get out of here. Let's try
don't-
T-ball.
There might not be scientifically a way to come up with a more embarrassing scenario than that. That might be like the most embarrassing scenario
through the
possible.
computer.
I mean, it's the most embarrassing thing with a dog, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That a dog could do to embarrass you.
Yeah,
it
there's
was
a few
pretty funny.
videos they released in Brazil. I don't know. Some of these dogs.
You can't talk about that. So, while this is happening, there's a bit of comic relief. KO fucks up, throwing some grenades, blah, blah, blah. KO forgets to pull the pin out. Big joke.
Yeah. I just know I'd do that in war. I'd throw my grenade without pulling the pin out. It'd be embarrassing. They throw it back though, and they didn't realize I didn't pull the pin out.
There you go.
Cock up.
Try again. You'll get it.
Like, thanks. I didn't want to be embarrassed in front of my other guys.
So McQuade wins their little chicken game. He pushes Raleigh's truck right into a building, and it's covered in a pile of rubble. But
Welcome to my hacienda, Mr. McQuade. How nice of you to pay a social visit.
you think he's dead, but he's not dead. They still got a fist fight.
Yeah, they ditch their weapons. They get ready to settle things the old-fashioned way.
Which is a nice kind of bookend, because earlier in the movie, when they first met up, Raleigh challenged him to a karate fight, and Lone Wolf was like, I don't karate fight for money. And now they're getting their karate fight.
I only karate fight when it's personal.
Yeah,
times 10.
I need it to be multiple levels of personal. You need to kill multiple peoples I love and kidnap my daughter before I karate fight.
Whenever you want to have a fight like this in a movie or in real life, I guess you got to take off your ammunition belts. You got to take your weapons away.
That bandolier belt that Chuck Norris has been wearing the entire movie.
Yeah.
David
With the
Carradine
magnum
snatches
bullets.
it right up.
Yeah, wraps it around his neck.
I can use this.
Let me show you.
Sure you don't want to spot me first?
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but all this David Carradine talk has got me mighty curious. I think tonight I'm going to take out the old leather belt, wrap it around my neck, and see what happens.
Seriously, Mitch, I support you, but once again, don't do it without a spotter.
No, you're right.
I'll even be your spotter.
Oh, you know
but
what?
I can't tonight.
I'm tired. I can't do it tonight.
All right, tomorrow night we'll all get together. We'll do the thing. I'll do it on Zoom.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
If it protects your life.
That's good. That's because you're on team high and low.
McQuade and Raleigh are squaring off. Raleigh's kind of got... His moves have a bit more of a flourish. Definitely looks more kung fu to me. It looks like he's also got a bit of Bruce Lee's steez. He's kind of doing a bit of the nose flick thing or moving his head around.
That's
got a bit of
such
a
a
head
cool
swivel.
move, the nose flick.
It looks cool.
Looks great.
It's like, but nobody thinks it's cool when you pick your nose.
I think David Carradine might arguably look better doing karate on camera than Chuck Norris does.
Yeah.
He looks
Yeah.
cooler while he's
He
doing
looks
it.
cooler.
You know, they're well... I thought that this battle, they were pretty well matched.
There's actors who aren't real martial artists
Yeah.
who make it look fucking great. Like Keanu Reeves is a great example.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's done his stuff, but
By
like,
now, he's
yeah.
probably a martial artist with all the
Yeah.
training and whatever, but he just
Yeah.
makes it look good. There's a skill in making it look good for the camera, and David Carradine has that skill.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic looking man. Fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And I mean,
So,
a big part of making fights look really good is the camera work and stuff. And a Lone Wolf McQuade can't really compare to a John Wick for that kind of. I don't know. You can just make like a hit look so much more impactful based on camera placement and like.
But both these guys, so yeah, it's not
you
as
check out
stylized.
some of those Scott Adkins
Yeah.
DTV movies. Like those are made by and for people who appreciate seeing a good fight on film. Like
an actual fighter
Ninja
stuntman
2.
guy, like choreographing things.
yeah, they're stunt guys, choreographers, real martial arts guys. They fucking build those movies from the ground up
Yeah.
to look as awesome as possible. And like the genre's come a long way in that regard. So I mean, Chuck Norris, he's a good martial artist, but to me, he's not as good as a lot of guys we got going nowadays.
At the end of the day, he smacks to me of like a family entertainment guy in like the same vein as Hulk Hogan around that era, who was, he was always fighting whatever the Iron Sheik or the Enemies of America or whatever. He's kind of in that template of this all-American good guy who can do no wrong. He drinks his domestic American beer, never foreign.
Fuck! Chuck Norris! I'm the Iron Sheik!
I'll say,
Fuck you!
I'm giving Chuck Norris credit here. At this time, nobody knew martial arts. It was 1983. There was some kung fu movies. People had seen the Shaw Brothers movies in America and whatnot, but it's not
Some
like it is
people,
now.
not a
Like,
lot of people.
the karate craze is just about to sweep the nation. 1983, I think that's when
When
Karate
did
Kid
Karate
comes
Kid?
out.
Yeah,
I think so, or maybe
Around all that time. Yeah.
84.
84.
No, you're right.
so. Like, this is some pretty unreal shit.
You're right, and there was so much martial arts, weird, wacky mysticism around that point in time. People were always like, "Oh, there's the practitioner of the dim mak death touch." They'd be advertising that in like comic books. They'd be like, "Come, you can learn the dim mak."
I have
death
some
touch.
Din Max stories, but I'll save them for next episode.
Yeah, it's getting late.
Yeah,
So these guys, they look good on camera, and they're fighting, and it's not at the point that we're used to now, but they're having a fight. And you know what? Raleigh fights dirty. He kicks some dirt in McQuade's face, and
this is a life or death fight. I don't know if you guys have ever been in a
Yeah.
life or death fight, but you're gonna kick dirt in a guy's face.
I've been in one.
You're gonna stab him.
You should see the other guy. Yeah. Raleigh, he just kind of picks up Sally. Sally's like, "No, Daddy." And he just fucking smacks her. He does like a backhand where you kind of twist your arm and
like
your
a
elbow
reverse punch.
backward like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's like a reverse punch or something like that.
Reverse punch. I mean, it's a move you do in Streets of Rage, too.
Yeah. It's the movie, and in every, it's the move. Like
It's so funny. In some of those old games, that was just like the specific punch. Like when you hit B,
Yeah.
it's like there's like bap,
B button.
bap, and you just
Yeah, one of those Sega Genesis games where I beat up hookers.
yeah,
you beat up hookers and these like big fat guys who would like
Echo
eat
the
a
Dolphin.
ham and then start breathing fire on you for
Breathing
some
fire.
reason.
Great game.
hot ham. You're like, I don't have enough of an awareness. Of,
These streets are rage.
is this a thing in Japan where you eat ham and you breathe fire?
I
don't-
love
don't
that
quite-
game. It's just
Yeah,
like
those are
we
like-
have to kill all the skateboarders, all the sex workers, all the fat people.
I've
It's
beaten that game
basically
more than
Death Wish
anything.
the game.
And I'm pretty sure in Streets of Rage, like one of the characters you can play as, Hagar, is the mayor of the city. So even worse, you're going through the city as the mayor of the city, beating up
wow.
sex workers.
Okay,
And
I've only played 2 and 4.
Oh, I played 1 1,000 times.
Oh wow, I only know 2.
I had
4 is recent.
not many games for my Sega Genesis. When I got it, it came with a 6-pack of games. And on it was Golden Axe, Streets
Yes.
of Rage, Sonic 1, Tetris, and like a couple other games.
some
And
must-haves.
Man, those
I
are
played
good
Streets
games.
of Rage
Yeah.
more than
all
like
of them.
any of them. I beat
Yeah.
that game so many times.
It's so fun. A side-scrolling beat 'em
I'm
up
sure
game.
Rage 2 is even better, but anyway, let's finish this fucking.
Yeah.
We're on the home
Wait.
stretch.
McQuade, once he sees that Raleigh has Sally, he's fully activated at this point. He's in his truck. He's going into overdrive here. He starts spin kicking. He just starts kicking the shit out of Raleigh so hard. So hard.
Son.
Had it coming.
Yeah. Lola, she then Raleigh picks up a gun and he fires it at McQuade and Lola jumps in front of it and
Yeah.
gives her fucking life for this piece of shit.
And it really doesn't make...
She's known him for
Like-
2 days.
outside the conceit of this movie, the whole scenario makes no sense because
Yeah, she's like, "I love you, McQuade."
and like Lola and McQuade's daughter have just been sitting like off on the sidelines watching them karate fight for 10 minutes, and at any point in time they could have grabbed a gun and just been like, "Hey, freeze, Raleigh, you don't," or shot Raleigh in the back of the head, depending on how ruthless you are. But they just they don't do any of that. They just sit and watch, and then now, yeah, Lola jumps in front of a bullet and dies for McQuade because the plot demands it, and McQuade...
And now it's personal.
Now it's really
now
personal.
it's 7 to the power of... I don't get it, it's over 9,000!
So McQuade snaps, loses it. He grabs a grenade, tosses it at Raleigh, while Raleigh's spraying the area with machine gun fire.
Yeah, McQuade's sort of dodging the bullets as he's running, but not
He's
really.
not really. He's just running directly in the line of a guy who's apparently an ace killer.
Only with his hands.
Yeah. And
don't know
he's
how to use
just
this
running
weapon.
into the machine gun fire, and the grenade lands in the perfect spot. And this kind of sucks. We don't see Raleigh die on
It
screen.
would have been better if we did, or if he got some sort of
We just
or some sort of dying.
Yeah.
we get
punchline.
nothing. We know he's in this little building.
It ain't right.
And then we watch that building go up like a fucking nuke hit it. But
Yeah.
we don't see any indication that Raleigh actually died.
Yeah, maybe Lone Wolf McQuade too. So the place is leveled. Here comes Falcone coming down on his helicopter, and he's pissed off. McQuade was supposed to just get rid of Raleigh, not blow up the entire weapons depot, not dispatch all of the baddies.
We arrived at an accord, McQuade. You were supposed to save my weapons, and in exchange, I would give you the location of Raleigh.
That was your accord, not mine.
I'm going in your helicopter now.
Yeah, they kidnapped the pilot of the helicopter, Jackson, McQuade, KO, and Sally. They all fly off in the helicopter and leave Falcone and his thug just in the middle of Mexico.
Yeah, to presumably be arrested by the federales.
Yeah. So, McQuade, he did it. He saved his daughter. Maybe he's going to learn about being a family man. That's what this is all about, wasn't it? Learning how to be a family man?
Yeah.
Except he was already the perfect family man, if only his stuck-up wife wouldn't let him do his job so good. I'm not going to say the B word, but we're all thinking it.
McQuade's real henpecked, isn't he, folks? So the captain loves McQuade at this point. He's got his tongue all the way up his ass because this Texas Ranger's got style. Didn't I tell you he had style? This is the type of guy who will, while on leave, unpaid leave, go out of his jurisdiction and blow up an arms facility in another country. That's the type of people we want on these Texas Rangers.
Yeah. That's the guy.
That's the
This guy doesn't do push-ups. He pushes the world down.
That's the guy.
Smart.
Last year we got him a birthday cake with a stripper inside it. He ate the whole cake before we told him there was a stripper inside it.
These Chuck Norris jokes turned into cannibal jokes so gradually. McQuade's family
This
pulls
guy
up
clogged the toilet when he took a piss.
with his Johnson. McQuade's family pulls up.
Wow.
They want him to help them move. That's the plan. And he's happy to oblige them, but just then KO pulls up, and they got a 1031 in progress.
1031.
They got hostages. Hostages, you say? And McQuade's back and forth. Is he going to go do the job? Is he going to be a family man? Has he learned a lesson? You bet your ass he hasn't.
Yeah. He's gonna crack a beer and go fucking kill some people.
Well, honey, I can't help you move. I got to go shoot some people.
Oh, John McQuade, you'll never change.
Aw, hell. That's the last line of the movie.
Then we get the credits. Hell yeah. Lone Wolf McQuade. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, both of these films were not too shabby.
We talk Texas Rangers. We
Great
got-
films, both of them. I'll take all the credit. I think I picked them, didn't I?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So we really did the highs and lows this episode, didn't we? We did the hell or high water and the low Wolf McQuade.
We covered all the bases.
Well done.
Yeah.
As is customary, I think it's time we kind of did a little round table talk. And what are you thinking, Luke? We're talking Texas Rangers. Which one got your yeehaw going? Which one got your giddy up?
I gotta say, I'm a pretty big fan of both of these movies. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably side with Lone Wolf McQuade. It's a little bit overlong. It's a lot of everything that you want from an action movie. Kind of turned up pretty high. But if I had to watch one of these movies again, it'd probably be Lone Wolf McQuade. Both these movies are great.
Yeah.
Especially Hell or High Water. I think that movie has a lot more to say, and it could appeal to anybody. You can show it to your dad. You can show it to your daughter. There's something there for everybody. Very, very good movie. But today, my psychotic pick is Lone Wolf McQuade because I'm a psycho and I'm on my fourth beer.
Hell yeah.
You are out of control.
What about you, Mitch? Mitch Hell McIsaac.
Yeah, that
Mitch
is.
Hell or High Water McIsaac.
Yeah, some very good points you bring up. Definitely Lone Wolf McQuade is probably the more rewatchable movie. Like I could see this being a favorite to watch going forward for a bad movie night or something like that. It's a great standard B action, not even B action movie, almost like B plus action movie that hits all the notes it needs to. Boy, there's something real pleasurable about watching Jeff Bridges be a cowboy, though.
He's one of the best, isn't he?
Yeah, True Grit, R.I.P.D., all the great cowboy movies of the last 20 years. He's been in them, and he's been talking like this.
He's been in a real muttery period for the last 15 years or so.
So I will probably give my vote to Hell or High Water, with the caveat that going forward, I probably will be watching Lone Wolf McQuade again in the future, and I don't know when I'll watch Hell and High Water again.
Well, yeah, I really enjoyed rewatching Hell or High Water. I'd seen it when it came out and loved it, and I enjoyed it even more this time around. Lone Wolf McQuade, fun as hell. That movie is a good time. I think everybody should check it out. Lots of explosions. Chuck Norris is as wooden as ever, but again, it's a fun movie. It's tough. I enjoyed both these movies a lot and for different reasons, but I'm going to have to go Hell or High Water on this one.
Fair.
It's just, I watch it. It's a very kind of comforting movie to me until it gets very uncomfortable and everything starts really popping off. And then it becomes a super, once the violence hits, once the action hits, it really steps it up to a whole other level, and it's just shot in a really good way, and it's super effective.
Yeah, absolutely the right take. If I'm honest, Hell or High Water is my pick too. But I mean, I just am being careful. I know that Chuck Norris is the only one of the stars of these movies who can kick a fart back into my ass.
Are you so sure?
He's a listener.
So I'm just hedging my bets.
Oh, there you have it. That was our foray into the Lone Star State, doing some Texas Ranger movies.
Wow.
I just want to say that if this is something you enjoyed, why don't you tell a friend? You got a friend, don't you?
Probably not if you listen to this.
Well,
but tell someone.
Go make a friend. Tell somebody. Tell the person next to you in line at the bank about this podcast, right as you're pulling your balaclava down over your face.
Yeah. And they probably have a friend, so they could tell a friend. And, next thing you know, it's like some kind of a fungus or a virus spreading outward. And everybody's listening to the High and Low podcast.
We just want to spread our fungus. Mm-hmm. And if you want to get back to us, send us an email if you want. We have everything in our show notes there. Hit us up on social media, High Low Movie Pod on most platforms. Send us out. We will...
Yeah, we'll make fun of you.
100%. We will critique your taste in movies and probably have a good discussion with you. So that was it for our Down Texas Way. Next time, we're going down to Karate Town. We just finished doing a movie with Chuck Norris, one of the great karate actors.
I love Karate Town.
Next time when we come back to the show, we're going to talk about warring karate dojos. We're going to examine Karate Kid, the 1984 classic that kind of put karate in America's mind frame. And we're going to talk about a movie that came out a few years earlier called The Instructor. Oh. This was recently released by Vinegar Syndrome on Blu-ray, and it is a real hoot. So we're going to see which warring karate dojo movie reigns supreme.
Yes! Nice.
Until next time, this has been High and Low. I'm Vaughn.
I'm Luke Son.
And I'm Mitchell McIsaac.
Smell you later.
Bye.
In the eyes of a ranger, the unsuspecting stranger had better know the truth of wrong from right. 'Cause the eyes of the ranger are upon you. Any wrong you do, he's gonna see. When you're in Texas, look behind you, 'cause that's where the ranger